Chapter 1. The Awakening of the Weakest Soldier. Even dogs shake their heads. Handong Province. First Academy of the Imperial Guards. Have you heard? Su Bai from our Class 2 of Year 3 has been cheated on by his girlfriend. I heard that the notorious Fei Yang beat him up, and now he's locked up in the detention center. What a fool. He's been dating his girlfriend for 3 years, yet they haven't even made it to home base. Haha. He's not even worthy to be compared to Fei Yang. He wouldn't even be allowed to push him around. Well, that's because during the pre-awakening test, while the other students were already nurturing their soldiers in their minds, he showed not a hint of activity. The teacher said that someone like him will be useless after their soldier awakening. Indeed, if I were Su Bai's girlfriend, I would have cheated on him too. In the detention center, Su Bai lay upon a small bed. A small window in the wall allowed a sliver of light to filter in. Today was the day of soldier awakening. All the students were bustling to school to test their awakened soldiers. Su Bai sighed. The thought of his previous test, which revealed no movement from the million soldiers within him, filled him with frustration. According to the teacher, someone in his condition would not manifest any soldiers during the awakening. Even if they did, they would be the most inferior kind. Watching the other students awaken their precious soldiers at school, it would be a lie to say he wasn't envious. Unfortunately, he was entangled with that deceitful Wang Kiki. It had cost him a chance to be the top of the class for 3 years that a devoted admirer truly has nothing to show for it. In a parallel world, where spiritual energy has awakened, all things flourish, and the world transforms into a myriad of realms. Monstrous beasts and demons wreak havoc upon the earth. Only warriors with 1,000,000 soldiers in their hearts can sweep through the realms and conquer the vast wilderness. They tread upon the demons of the world. Those who possess soldiers are the kings of warriors. By summoning their soldiers with their will, they slay demons and conquer dungeons. They acquire vast wealth and tools. They gain status and dignity in society. They rise above others. This is the highest honor and aspiration for every warrior who awakens soldiers. Just as Su Bai seemed destined to be without awakened soldiers, a police officer in the detention center opened the iron door. "Teacher Wu, what brings you here?" It was none other than their homeroom teacher, Ms. Wu. In her 30s, she wore a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. Su Bai stood up, respectfully greeting her and offering his chair. Ms. Wu declined to sit. "I knew you wouldn't be able to make it for the soldier awakening today. So I brought the awakening stone from school with me, that I hope you can create a miracle." Her words left Su Bai feeling awkward. The implication was clear. The teacher did not hold high hopes for him unless a miracle occurred. Nonetheless, he was grateful for her effort in bringing the awakening stone, and no matter what, he had to give it a try. Su Bai nodded. He placed his hands upon the awakening stone. In an instant, the black stone emitted a white light that enveloped him. Seeing the white light emanating from the awakening stone, Ms. Wu couldn't help but shake her head. The color of the light during awakening indicates the strength of the soldier to be awakened. The hierarchy of colors is gold, purple, blue, green, and the least desirable is white. The strongest student in their class, Zhao Haoyan, awakened a purple soldier, a two-headed ogre. This soldier possesses immense strength and can later evolve into an ogre sorcerer or an ogre chieftain. Even the weakest student in the class, who awakened a green soldier, had a dog-headed warrior with built-in heavy stun buffs. Not to mention the class belle, Su Xiaoya, whose awakening produced a golden light. Her awakened soldier was nothing short of extraordinary. Dragon warrior number of soldiers, 7 skills. Healing aura, advanced swordsmanship, advanced combo. Typically, the initial number of soldiers upon awakening is 3. Yu Xiaoya summoned 7 soldiers, not to mention her 3 innate skills. This made every faculty and student envious. Ms. Wu reflected on the events of the day. Su Bai's awakening concluded. Mobilized soldier number of soldiers, 3 skills. None. Teacher Wu, my awakening is complete. Ms. Wu furrowed her brow. Su Bai's awakening yielded human soldiers. Among all the myriad races, this was the weakest soldier type. Human soldiers lack sharp teeth, elongated claws, the agility of monkeys, the strength of bulls, and the height of elephants. Even wielding swords and shields, they remain the most inferior. Typically, such soldiers are relegated to menial labor or factory work. However, Ms. Wu did not give up. She inquired further. "Don't lose heart yet. Let me see the attributes of these 3 mobilized soldiers." Su Bai concentrated, and the attributes of the mobilized soldiers immediately appeared. Mobilized soldier strength, 5 agility, 3 defense, 0 health, 50. After reviewing the attributes, Ms. Wu was left speechless. Is this what one calls a soldier? Not to mention that the weakest student in the class had a dog-headed warrior with a strength of 8 points and a defense of 6 points. This was an abysmally weak soldier with a defense of 0.1 could say that even using such a soldier for labor would be futile. Even dogs would shake their heads in disdain. Ms. Wu retrieved the awakening stone, sighing deeply. You know the school's regulations failing to pass the dungeon examination could lead to expulsion. After saying this, she patted Su Bai's hand, offered a few words of consolation, and left the detention center. Alas, it seems this life is destined for failure. Perhaps it is time to restart. In fact, when Su Bai entered the detention center, the betrayal had struck him so deeply that he immediately fainted from anger. At this moment, Su Bai from a parallel universe traversed into his body. In the past few days, he had finally sorted through all the circumstances. In his previous life, he was merely a person at the lowest echelon of society, initially believing that his arrival in this new realm would lead to an extraordinary rise. Yet, he found himself unable to escape the fate of being a lowly waste. Well, upon emerging tomorrow, he would have his 3 summoned subordinates help him move bricks to earn some money. Schooling was of no importance. On the second day, Su Bai exited the detention center and sought a task at the talent market to transport bricks to the front lines. The daily remuneration was a mere 100 yuan. Upon leaving the city, Su Bai activated the latent power within him, summoning 100,000 soldiers. 3 summoned soldiers materialized from a void, clad in military coats and wielding AK-47s. They rendered Su Bai a standard military salute. This sudden display caused Su Bai to widen his eyes in astonishment. These 3 soldiers seemed strikingly familiar. Before he could ponder further, the foreman urged him to hasten the cart. Thus, Su Bai, alongside his summoned soldiers, began to push the cart laden with bricks. Midway, a flock of colossal chickens emerged violently from the woods. A single crowing cry echoed. These monstrous chickens launched a frenzied assault on the transport team with their sharp beaks and claws. Several ordinary individuals were pecked to death on the spot. The situation grew dire. The foreman bellowed, summoning 5 warrior worms. Curse those colossal chickens. My warrior worms are of green rank, equipped with the ability to burrow. They shall easily handle you. However, scarcely had he spoken when the warrior worms were devoured by the colossal chickens. Damn it, run. Don't panic, brother, I still have 3 soldiers left. Just you? Young one, it's best to preserve your life. Don't be reckless, these 3 human soldiers are no match for even an ordinary person's physique. The colossal chickens possess agility of 10 and strength reaching 12, being level 5 creatures. Do not seek death, run with me. Su Bai, equally alarmed, observed even the stronger foreman fleeing in terror. This was his first encounter witnessing monsters devouring humans. This was disastrous. Yet unexpectedly, the 3 summoned soldiers immediately raised their AK-47s. They unleashed a hail of gunfire upon the colossal chickens. Rat-a-tat. Following the barrage, the chickens scattered in chaos. Simultaneously, Su Bai received corresponding notifications. Experience gained. 5 experience gained. 5 experience gained. 5. The foreman stood in shock. Damn, little brother, how could your human soldiers, so frail, possibly defeat a level 5 monster? Even my level 6 warrior worms were annihilated. Su Bai remained perplexed. Yet, the sound of gaining experience from defeating the colossal chickens resonated continuously in his mind. Experience gained. 5. Congratulations, you have leveled up, unlocked the unique red alert system of humanity. Chapter 2. The mobilization troops are actually used for moving bricks. And only after killing monsters did I realize the AK is useful. Starting funds. 1100. Note. The funds in the red alert system correspond to gold and gems in reality. Wow. As expected, it's here, the benefits of a traveler. Su Bai, whose body shook. He immediately focused inward to check the attributes of the troop types in his stone sea. He saw that a deployed base vehicle had appeared within him. To the right, a menu bar emerged, featuring buildings, barracks, armored factories, and 4 groups of naval units. Isn't this just the red alert game he played before crossing over? Amazing. Su Bai first clicked on the power plant, and after a few seconds, the power plant was ready. He then placed the power plant on a vacant spot in the stone sea. A power plant rose from the ground, instantly consuming 600 of his funds. Su Bai then clicked on another unit, the barracks. After a few more seconds, the barracks were also ready. Su Bai clicked to build again. A barracks, featuring a soldier holding a machine gun to defend the nation, was immediately completed. Clicking on the barracks function options, the mobilization troops option appeared in the function bar. He clicked to produce, but an awkward situation occurred. He ran out of funds. The initial funds were instantly spent. He had been too excited earlier. After all, in the game, the first step is to build a barracks to produce troops to raid the enemy's base. Looking at the 3 mobilization troops in front of him, with beards and dressed in military coats, holding AK-47s, One could say that all their combat power was concentrated in the AK-47s. In this parallel world, there were no developments of modern gunpowder weapons. There was simply no need for it. The strong could awaken troop types. The research on weapons had completely remained in the cold weapon era. Not to mention, some advanced troop types came with skills like lightning and flames. Looking at his upgraded attributes, character level, LV2, strength, 61, agility, 61, defense, 3, health, 555, wow. The original owner's body is really quite useless with such poor qualifications. In the world of cultivation, it wouldn't even meet the entry requirements. But the next second, another piece of good news fell into his mind. Skill acquired, Red Alert Spirit. Buildings do not retreat from the game until they are fully destroyed. Note, the host's health and the health of the buildings in the Stone Sea share the same life. Current buildings in the Stone Sea. 3. Total life points, 1600, with 1600 life points. Plus his own 55 health points, he could directly challenge a level 10 dungeon. The monsters there probably wouldn't be able to scratch him. Just as Subai was happily reveling in this, the foreman, having narrowly escaped death, panted heavily and wiped the sweat off his forehead. Little brother, I didn't expect your troops to be so strong. Why are you still doing this kind of manual labor? At that moment, Subai, feeling like a chosen one, played it cool. He wanted to keep a low profile and experience life among the common folk. Well, 3 people died, so this trip has been a loss. If you kill those 10 giant chickens and sell them to me, I can recoup some losses and provide some compensation to the families of those 3 unfortunate souls. Subai was eager to dive into the dungeon solo and didn't have time to chat with the foreman anymore. How much are you offering? He asked. 10,000 for 1 chicken, 100,000 for all 10, the foreman replied. Subai gasped. These giant chickens were surprisingly valuable. 100,000 was a sum that would take 3 years of hard labor just to earn through manual work. He thought of the 3 who had tragically died, always living in fear and toiling away, earning a meager 100 a day while hauling bricks to build isolation walls at the dungeon front line. Meanwhile, his mobilized soldiers had effortlessly earned 100,000 with just a few shots. He glanced at the envious looks from the brick-moving workers around him, who couldn't awaken their own troops. The joy of having survived moments ago was completely overshadowed by the prospect of 100,000. No wonder they said that entering the Guard Academy was the first step to reaching the pinnacle of life. Okay, let's settle on the price of 10,000 each. Oh, and don't forget to pay me the 100 for my daily wage, he added. The foreman handed over the money, and Subai didn't say much more. He loaded the 3 bodies onto the cart and, with the bricks, headed to the dungeon entrance. According to the foreman, all these bricks were meant for wall construction to enclose the forest, preventing anyone from mistakenly wandering in and dying inside the dungeon without understanding what was happening. As for Subai killing those 10 giant chickens, it was purely luck. Monsters in the dungeon had a very slim chance of leaving the premises, and humans could only gain experience items upon entering. The bodies of the monsters couldn't be taken away. Only the rare few that managed to escape the dungeon could have their bodies exist outside. The 10 giant chickens, on the other hand, were a rare delicacy. If sold to a Michelin-starred restaurant, they would fetch a fortune. Once they arrived, Subai officially began moving bricks. He carried 5 bricks at a time to the cart, while each of the 3 mobilized soldiers did the same. They made countless trips back and forth, working vigorously and sweating profusely, getting filthy in the process. As they prepared in front of the dungeon, some students recognized the unfortunate soul in the green hat. No way. Isn't that Subai? He was released from the detention center? Haha, this is the legendary outcome of being crazy in love. Looking at his appearance, it seems that his class has failed to awaken properly and can only resort to manual labor. No, the 3 people behind him should be his class, but surprisingly, they are human classes, useless. No wonder Wang Kiki looks down on him. Being with such a man means going hungry most of the time. Hungry? Are you talking about hunger above or below? What do you think? A man with such poor attributes probably isn't good in bed either, unable to satisfy Wang Kiki. Hee. Brother, you really are going too fast. Be careful not to get yourself in trouble, haha. To these mocking comments, Subai, who had crossed over, was completely unfazed. Women like Wang Kiki were as common as grass in Subai's world, and there was no need to take this woman to heart. He gathered the 3 mobilized soldiers. The 3 of them shouted slogans and stood in a row, placing their AK-47s against their chests, standing straight. In unison, they shouted, "Please issue the mission, Commander." Subai nodded, quite satisfied with these obedient soldiers. Soldiers. They must uphold military discipline. Orders must be followed. These soldiers were fully capable of doing just that. Now, follow me into the dungeon. After issuing the command, Subai arrived at the entrance of the dungeon. Grey Wolf Forest, dungeon level 6, drop loot, gold. Small chance of dropping basic equipment. Recommended team size, 35 people. With a wave of his hand, the 3 mobilized soldiers marched in step, following Su-bai into the forest. Chapter 3. The mobilized brothers have precise marksmanship. Higher-level dungeons are like cutting vegetables. What the? Is Su-bai trying to commit suicide? Hey, dude. Although this is a level 6 dungeon, it's still recommended to enter as a team. You're only level 2, are you crazy? Hurry back and call the police. A rookie who just awakened the weakest human class is actually charging into a dungeon that requires a team. This guy must be lovesick and wants to end it all. We need to notify the police quickly. After entering the dungeon, the trees gradually became denser. The 3 mobilized soldiers formed a triangular formation surrounding Su-bai. They advanced slowly. Indeed, soldiers are professionals. I wonder if their AK-47s would deal with the monsters here as easily as they did with the previous ones. Suddenly, a series of rustling sounds came from the woods, like something was stepping on fallen leaves and sneaking through the low bushes. In an instant, the 3 mobilized soldiers raised their guns, bullets chambered. Shadows moved in the trees. A giant wolf with gray-blue fur emerged from the low bushes on Su-bai's left side. Howling, the giant wolf bared its sharp teeth and claws, lunging at Su-bai. The mobilized soldier on the left pulled the trigger, bang, bang, bang. 3 bullets shot toward the giant wolf. The giant wolf let out a mournful howl and collapsed to the ground. Experience gained. 6. Wow. This gray wolf is much faster than the big chicken. It was still taken down by the 3 shots from the AK in the hands of my mobilized soldiers. Impressive. Meanwhile, the heat from the gun barrel hadn't dissipated yet. 2 more giant wolves emerged from both directions. Da-da-da-da. The other 2 mobilized soldiers also opened fire simultaneously. The moment these 2 wolves leaped into the air, they were turned into a sieve. By the time they hit the ground, they had already become a puddle of minced meat. Experience gained. 6. Experience gained. 6. It seems that with the support of heavy firepower, these animals can only serve as a boost to my experience. Team, listen up. Advance while firing. Su-bai commanded. The 3 mobilized soldiers obeyed Su-bai's orders. As long as there was movement in the bushes, they would unleash a barrage. Moreover, the 3 of them coordinated exceptionally well. After 1 round of bullets was fired, they took turns providing cover. All along the way, gunfire was everywhere, like a festival. Experience points were soaring. Along the way, they also took down other creatures in the instance, 2 wild boars and 3 pythons. After nearly an hour of fighting, the experience shot up to 50. This speed was simply astronomical. If it were the past, a newly awakened soldier would only be able to challenge the novice instances in the academy, where they would typically need to kill 100 monsters to level up. But with the support of mobilized soldiers, they could directly tackle higher-level instances, making leveling efficiency truly remarkable. Just when Su-bai was feeling pleased, a gray wolf broke through the trio's firepower net and lunged at him. Su-bai quickly used his arm to block it. Damage taken. Health reduced by 30 points. The gray wolf's sharp teeth sank into Su-bai's arm, but he didn't feel any pain. Instead, he shook his arm and flung the wolf away. One of the mobilized soldiers immediately struck with the butt of his AK-47 and then fired 2 more shots, taking down the hungry wolf. That moment had made Su-bai break out in a cold sweat. The monster's attack power was simply too high. With his 55 health points, just 2 bites could have him back at square one. Fortunately, his health was bound to the structures in the stone sea, so the damage was negligible. It seemed that instead of worrying about being killed by these monsters, it was better to let the mobilized soldiers protect him. After all, they only had 50 health points. These guys were the most vulnerable. Passing through a patch of low bushes, a black cave appeared ahead. Deep inside the cave, pairs of green eyes were watching Su-bai intently. Su-bai knew he had stumbled into a den of wolves. During classes at the academy, the teacher had taught that generally, as a dungeon reaches certain points, the difficulty would increase. Sure enough, he could hear the sounds of wolves howling from within the den. And soon, agile wolves sprang out, baring their teeth and claws as they lunged at Su-bai. 3 mobilized soldiers immediately raised their guns and opened fire. Bullets struck the wolves, causing splashes of blood. Since the wolves were all emerging from the cave entrance, the soldiers took turns providing fire suppression. Not a single wolf managed to escape. All fell at the cave's mouth. Experience gained. 6. Experience gained. 6. Experience gained. 6. The experience points continued to rise. Before long, Su-bai's experience increased by another 30. He was close to leveling up. After taking down the last wolf, a wooden treasure chest appeared from its body. This brought a smile to Su-bai's face. The rewards for reaching the dungeon node had arrived. Stepping over the scattered brass shell casings, he approached the chest, extending his hand to feel for the latch. Click! The chest opened, revealing glimmering gold coins. Found, 60 gold coins. Wow, gold. In this world, gold was an important rare metal. Not only was it used as currency for trade, but it was also required as a conductor in household appliances and other creations. More importantly, gold could be used to craft the equipment wielded by elite warriors. Various golden weapons were heavily dependent on gold and consumed it in large quantities. Su-bai took out the box of coins. The system's voice rang out instantly. Would you like to deposit into the red alert system? Although gold was crucial in this world, his own system also required gold and gems to exchange for funds. Subai chose yes without hesitation. In an instant, 60 appeared in his red alert system account. Current funds, 60. It seemed that with another 40, he could produce the next mobilized soldier. Onward. He passed through the wolf den and entered deeper. The cave was initially dark, but as his eyes adjusted to the dim light, it became brighter inside. In the distance, flickering shadows revealed some flames burning, surrounded by several dark figures. Subai sneered. Spotting living beings, he ordered, "Open fire." The 3 soldiers obeyed, and a series of shots rang out. The sounds of wolves howling echoed as the dark figures quickly scrambled up from the ground, brandishing bone knives and charging forward. At this moment, Subai finally got a clear look at what was coming towards him. The creature had a full gray coat with spots resembling a leopard, walked upright, and was clad in wooden armor. This was the werewolf the teacher spoke about in the textbook. This type of werewolf was 2 levels higher than the previous 6-level gray wolf, reaching level 8. Therefore, the sign before the dungeon suggested forming a team to enter. It could be said that this dungeon contained monsters exceeding the current difficulty level. Otherwise, it wouldn't be classified as a raid dungeon. Chapter 4. The police came to rescue Subai. After entering the dungeon, the scene was one of carnage, instantly shocking. Without any hesitation, 3 mobilized soldiers opened fire. The flames from the bullets illuminated the entire cave, flickering in and out. Due to the approaching werewolves wearing wooden gear, their defense was increased, making a single bullet insufficient to take them down. Thus, the 3 mobilized soldiers concentrated their fire on one werewolf. Without armor protection, its arms, legs, and head were instantly blown apart. 2 more werewolves charged in. In a critical moment, Subai leveled up. Character level, LV3. Strength, 71. Agility, 71. Defense, 3. Health, 605. Having previously taken 30 points of damage, he instantly recovered. Subai stepped in front of the 3 mobilized soldiers, raised his fists, and drove back the remaining werewolves. Meanwhile, the 3 soldiers reloaded their weapons, aiming at the werewolves that were closing in. In close-range penetration shots, they shattered the wooden armor of the 2 approaching werewolves, causing their insides to burst forth, with flesh flying everywhere. After eliminating the werewolves, a wooden treasure chest appeared on the ground once more. Upon opening it, there were shiny gold coins, and this time, there was an additional piece of wooden armor. Acquired. 50 gold coins, 1 wooden armor. Subai took out the wooden armor, and its attributes immediately appeared. Wooden armor, defense, 2. This was a standard beginner-level equipment. Having it was better than not having anything at all, especially since many of the students outside didn't even possess any equipment. Subai equipped the wooden armor, instantly raising his defense from 3 to 5 points. However, compared to this slight increase in defense, the 50 gold coins were even more precious. With them, his funds in the Stone Sea increased to 110. Without any hesitation, Subai immediately clicked to produce a mobilized soldier in the barracks. After a few seconds, a mobilized soldier armed with an AK-47 walked out of the barracks. Subai then deployed this soldier. With a swift motion, a burly man in a military coat with a full beard appeared before Subai, cursing under his breath. "For the motherland, cheers," he said, unscrewing his military flask and taking a swig of vodka. "Good, now let's get ready for battle. Fall in." The 4 men formed a square formation and moved forward at a steady pace. The recruits immediately saluted, protecting Subai in the center as they continued to explore the cave. Soon, a light appeared ahead, revealing an exit. As they stepped outside, they found themselves in a vast grassland. In the distance, shadows of wolves could be seen. There were werewolves standing upright as well as gray wolves, totaling more than a dozen. It looked like they had reached the final stage of the dungeon. Subai signaled for his recruits to prepare, reloading all their weapons. Just then, a party invitation appeared in Subai's mind. "The police station of the Bright Zone invites you to form a team." Huh, what's going on? He thought. He hadn't contacted anyone, yet there was a party request. He was almost done, and if others joined, he wouldn't gain anything. After all, once synchronized with others, only the final boss remained, and experience would be shared, significantly reducing his leveling efficiency. Initially, Subai planned to decline. However, seeing the words police station, he felt he had no choice but to agree. After all, he had just come out of detention and didn't want to stir up more trouble. Meanwhile, an hour earlier, 2 police officers who were dealing with the incident of a dangerous creature escaping from a dungeon received a report from a student. The student claimed that a fellow student had entered a level 6 dungeon alone. "Old Wu, should we go over or stay here to handle the creature's escape?" The 2 officers hesitated, unsure of what to do. They turned to an elder beside them, Professor Wu. "While saving lives is important, our task is to assist Professor Wu, who is retired from a prestigious university, in investigating the creature's escape." They found themselves in a dilemma. Upon hearing this, Professor Wu became anxious. Investigating this is nothing compared to a life at stake. Let's hurry over. Before long, the three arrived at the entrance of the Grey Wolf Forest dungeon. Professor Wu used his advanced skill, telepathy, to sense Su Bai's presence and immediately invited him to join his dungeon progress. To their surprise, Su Bai accepted the invitation right away. The three felt relieved. This inexperienced kid seemed to be safe, so they rushed to bring him out. Once inside the dungeon, the two police officers summoned their respective creatures. 12 level 14 swamp giant frogs and 18 level 9 orc slaves. With these more than 30 monsters as their guards. Entering this level 6 dungeon was not overly challenging, but it was sufficient to clear it. Not to mention the professor, who had not released any units in between. The units he possessed were of a higher level and in greater numbers. The three of them hurried forward. Did they die? The gray wolves are all dead? Upon entering the first forest, one officer was shocked to see the ground covered with gray wolf corpses and couldn't help but exclaim. Another officer replied, "This young man is only level 2. I heard that his units are the weakest humans. How could he kill so many wolves?" The professor said, "Perhaps the young man's unit is archers. He might have used them to kite the monsters and slowly wear them down. We need to move quickly. Once we reach the wolf den, this tactic won't work anymore." The three continued on their way. They soon arrived at the wolf den where Su Bai had killed the wolves. Looking at the countless wolf corpses, everyone was at a loss to explain how Su Bai managed to do this, but they didn't have time to analyze the situation in detail. It wasn't until they entered the cave and saw the bodies of the wolfmen that everyone was shocked. How could a level 2 student with just awakened units kill an 8th level wolfman in this tunnel? This was completely impossible. Even if his unit was human archers, there was no way to achieve this. Humans were inherently fragile with low health points. Even with a bow and arrow, the damage dealt would be minimal and could not penetrate the wolfman's armor. The two officers were baffled. The professor crouched down to closely examine the wounds on the wolfmen. Blood was still seeping out from the finger-sized wounds. Seeing this scene, the professor was utterly shocked and incredulous. The kind of unit that could inflict such wounds. He had only heard of the steel stone demon, which was filled with steel rods. This type of unit was one of the highest level units in the world. Wasn't he that kid supposed to have awakened a human unit? How could he achieve damage effects similar to that of a golden awakened unit? No. These wounds had penetrating damage. They were clearly stronger than the piercing damage caused by the steel stone demon. Chapter 5. The fastest legend of the novice dungeon. Su Bai breaks the clearing record after inspecting the scene. The three quicken their pace and charge forward. Meanwhile, Su Bai's mobilized troops were fiercely engaging the last enemy. The four formed a fan shape, continuously firing their AK-47s in turn. One by one, the gray wolves charging at them were knocked down. As for the higher defense wolfmen, they were taken down through concentrated fire. In such an open environment with sufficient light, the mobilized troops could achieve perfect accuracy, easily defeating these monsters and leaving them in pools of blood. After the battle, the experience points filled up perfectly. Su Bai's level increased again, easily reaching level 4. Character level, LV4, Strength, 81, Agility, 81, Defense, 32, Health, 655. Wow, the experience from a level 6 dungeon is indeed high. Clearing it once directly boosted him by 2 levels. The last wolf-like creature that died dropped a wooden treasure chest. Su Bai opened the chest as usual. A flash of golden light appeared, revealing 20 coins and a piece of wooden armor. This time, Su Bai was somewhat dissatisfied with the rewards. There were only 20 coins. And he already had that piece of equipment. Nevertheless, he still put them away. He heard that there was a street near the hospital where stalls were set up to sell unwanted equipment. Su Bai instructed the 4 mobilized soldiers to take a break. He still planned to clear a few more rounds today. At that moment, he heard some voices behind him. The mobilized soldiers immediately became alert. Su Bai turned his head and saw that it was the police officers who had invited him to team up before. The 3 of them approached and looked at the corpses scattered on the ground. One of the officers said, "We received a report. Did you enter this dungeon to commit suicide? Young man, think positively. There is no obstacle you can't overcome." Su Bai was speechless. "Officer, I was just clearing the dungeon normally. Is there a misunderstanding?" The 2 officers didn't know what to say. The corpses all over the ground clearly indicated it was just a normal dungeon run. Professor Wu asked, "Did you kill all these?" Su Bai nodded. Then, Professor Wu pointed to the 4 mobilized soldiers who were on guard. "You used these 4 human units?" Su Bai nodded again. "Let me see their attributes." Su Bai displayed the attributes of the mobilized soldiers. The moment the attributes were revealed, the 2 officers were astonished. How is that possible? Such weak units managed to clear a level 6 dungeon. This is simply unbelievable. Absolutely abnormal. What exactly did you do? Officer, it seems I haven't committed any crime. Please don't interrogate me like this. These monsters were indeed killed by me and my units. Professor Wu squinted, remaining silent as he scrutinized the young man in front of him. The young man's units were indeed weak. But Could it be possible that this young man was a skilled commander, a micromanipulation master, who used techniques to overcome brute force and cleared the dungeon? He pondered for a moment. Indeed, back when he was teaching at the prestigious academy in a certain city. Indeed, some geniuses can conquer difficult challenges with their inferior troops. Could it be that this young man is also a genius-level commander? Young man, what is your name? Old man. My name is Subai. Professor Wu repeated this name. Having clarified the misunderstanding, everyone felt relieved and left the challenge together. After exiting, the classmates who had seen the police enter the challenge to rescue someone had not dispersed. Upon seeing the four emerge, they began to whisper among themselves. That guy was rescued. So young, yet so hopeless, resigning himself to his poor talent, simply wasting police resources. People like him are just looking for trouble and should be sent to a detention center for a few more days. Subai paid no attention to the whispers. After separating from the police, he turned and re-entered the challenge to continue leveling up. What the heck? Is this guy out of his mind? He just got rescued and went back to get himself killed. Police. Officer, this guy is back to being hopeless. Why don't you take him to the detention center for a few days? He is just disturbing the peace. Hey, forget it. You can't reason with someone who is determined to meet their end. Look, even the police are ignoring him. If he wants to die, let him. Let us get our team together. We can enter the challenge soon. After waiting another 2.5 hours, the students finally gathered together. Just as they were about to enter, they saw Subai walking out of the challenge. Moreover, his original 4 troops had turned into 5. What? No way. He really cleared the Grey Wolf Forest challenge alone? How is that possible? He was using human troops, the weakest type. Everyone's eyes widened in disbelief. However, Subai did not linger. Amidst their strange gazes, he entered the challenge again. Another hour and a half passed, and the student team finally assembled 5 members, 3 melee troops and 2 ranged troops. The captain briefed them on their formation and prepared to enter. Just then, the announcement board at the front of the challenge emitted an alarm. Ding! Challenge completion speed record updated. New record completion time, 1 hour, 28 minutes. And 53 seconds, huh? What is going on? The leading captain was momentarily stunned. Just 5 meters ahead at the entrance, Subai whistled as he walked out. Behind him followed 6 mobilized troops, arranged in 2 columns as they advanced outward. Did he just set a new record? Forget it, forget it. We must be seeing things. How could that guy, who was just escorted out by the police, possibly set a new record? Sure. After the new year and now in August, no one has broken the previous 2-hour record. It must be an illusion. It's already late in the afternoon, around 6 p.m. Subai is still carrying 4 extra pieces of equipment dropped from the dungeon. At this point, Subai has equipped wooden armor and wooden bracers, bringing his defense to 7 points. With these additional items he is carrying, continuing to explore the dungeon would definitely slow him down. It would be better to go home now, take a hot shower, and sell the extra equipment for some money tomorrow before diving back into the dungeon. He also has 100,000 coins on him. He plans to exchange all this money for gold coins and health items. Although today's dungeon run went smoothly and the mobilized troops were quite effective, one of the recruits was bitten by a wolf, losing half of his health. Tomorrow, he will buy some healing potions to restore the recruit's health. Subai is not someone who treats his troops like family, but currently, he has few soldiers and needs to cherish each one. Chapter 6. The humiliated Subai is mocked. Beautiful classmate comforts his hurt soul the next day, outside the hospital. Since the city management does not oversee this area, both sides of the road are filled with street vendors. Subai arrived early to secure a spot and set up the 4 pieces of equipment he obtained yesterday at the roadside. Freshly made wooden shorts, 100 gold coins each. And only 4 pieces left. He plans to sell them and go home. As Subai was calling out to attract customers, a shadow covered his stall. Hey, isn't this Subai? Out of the detention center? Selling shorts here? The other party was full of mockery, with a smug look on his face. Subai looked up and saw it was Zhao Haoyan, a classmate who had previously humiliated him. Ignoring Zhao's taunts, Subai continued with his work. What a pity. I heard you awakened as a human soldier type. Probably no one else in the school can compare. Zhao chuckled. Don't be sad. Your brother Zhao here awakened as a high-level soldier type, a 2-headed ogre. If you kneel down and apologize to me, I might consider taking you through a dungeon. So you won't have to embarrass yourself selling socks and shorts here. Zhao continued to mock him, but when he noticed Subai's indifference, he lost interest. Turning away, he muttered fool and walked off. However, after taking just a couple of steps, he suddenly found himself unable to move forward. In the distance, a striking figure was hopping toward them. A girl with double ponytails, dressed in casual attire, with fair and radiant skin and a cute, innocent face, was running over. Upon seeing her, Zhao Haoyan immediately grinned widely. Isn't this Su Xiaoya? Just here to browse the stalls this morning? I'll accompany you. I know this area well. The newcomer was indeed Su Xiaoya, one of the highest level awakened soldier types in the school, a dragon warrior. She is not only powerful, but also has a pure and charming appearance. making her the undeniable campus beauty of the First Academy of the Guard. Many boys admire her beauty, and Zhao Haoyan in front of her is one of them, though he has also become one of those rejected. Su Xiaoya revealed a faint smile, her two dimples subtly visible, and her sweet voice was intoxicating. Thank you. I'm here to find Brother Su Bai. I called him yesterday, and he said he was here selling things. Upon hearing that she was looking for Su Bai, Zhao Haoyan's face immediately darkened. That poor fool, whose girlfriend was stolen by him. Weak and incompetent. How could he possibly attract the affection of the top goddess of the whole school? At this moment, Su Xiaoya had already come to Su Bai's side, holding onto his arm with a cheerful expression. I heard you broke up. That's great. Su Bai awkwardly chuckled. Huh? It seems like everyone in the school knows about my situation. No worries, I'm still here. Then, Su Xiaoya looked at the 4 pieces of equipment Su Bai had displayed and praised. Brother Su is amazing. You got 4 pieces of basic equipment. Let me help you sell them. With her hands cupped around her mouth in a megaphone shape, Su Xiaoya began to call out to sell the 4 pieces of equipment. Su Xiaoya had grown up in the same alley as Su Bai, and they were childhood friends. She was also one of Su Bai's few good friends in this academy. Instead of feeling shy about his masculinity being overshadowed by her assistance, Su Bai was quite happy. He hadn't expected that as soon as the beautiful girl took action, she immediately attracted the attention of many passers-by, and a large crowd gathered to look at the 4 pieces of equipment. Watching the two of them chatting and laughing, Zhao Haoyan felt a pang of jealousy. Damn it, tonight, I must make Wang Kiki, that little witch, pay for it. In less than an hour, the 4 pieces of equipment were sold for 360 gold coins. The efficiency was impressive. Here, take this money, Su Bai said, handing the gold coins to Su Xiaoya. Why are you giving it to me? These equipment are yours. I just helped sell them. Silly. Of course, it's your commission. There will be more equipment later. And you'll help me sell them, so don't think about slacking off. Saying this, Su Bai pinched Su Xiaoya's cheek playfully. I have something to do. I need to go to the hospital to buy a healing potion for my soldiers. You wait here. Su Xiaoya nodded, a bit flushed. As Su Bai entered the hospital, he thought to himself how foolish he had been in his previous life. With such a beautiful girl around, he didn't dare to pursue her, and instead went after Wang Kiki from his class. Now he found himself in this guy's body, becoming the laughingstock of the entire school. Just then, he suddenly realized he had encountered a familiar face in the crowd of the hospital lobby. Wasn't he that Zhao Haoyan, who had mocked him today? What was he doing at the hospital? He saw Zhao Haoyan looking around furtively. He pulled up the hood of his sweatshirt and walked out of the hospital with his head down. Just then, a piece of white paper fell out of his clothing. However, he didn't notice it. Su Bai found it strange and picked up the paper from the ground. When he unfolded it, he was shocked to see explosive content. Name, Zhao Haoyan, ID number, 354715965893. HIV blood test, positive. HIV antibody test, positive. First People's Hospital Testing Department. This certificate is real and valid. Please take this to the health center for medication registration. Do not lose this receipt. Wow, Zhao Haoyan really played with fire. He actually contracted HIV. The thought sent chills down Su Bai's spine. Thankfully, he had been a loyal admirer for 3 years and never even got a chance to be a backup. He narrowly escaped a disaster. If he had successfully progressed in that relationship and got infected, he would have been in tears now. After putting the paper away, Su Bai bought some healing medicine and left the hospital. He spent the afternoon shopping and joking with Su Xiaoya, and on the way, he exchanged the previous 100,000 for 500 gold coins at a pawn shop. They enjoyed a bowl of spicy hot pot on the street before heading home. It wasn't that Su Bai didn't want to check into a hotel. The key was that on the way back, just as he was about to bring it up, he ran into Su Xiaoya's parents, and the obedient girl was naturally taken away. Su Bai could only console himself. I should focus on leveling up and strengthening my body, making up for lost time next time. Back home, Su Bai deposited the 500 gold coins directly into the system. Building a mine required 500. There definitely wasn't enough money, or he could produce 5 more mobilized soldiers. Su Bai clicked 5 times on the mobilized soldier option, but then canceled it. It was better to check the defensive buildings first to see what was available. After that, Su Bai opened the defense section. There was only one type of defensive building. Watchtower cannon, attack power, 50, building health, 300. Note, when you build a watchtower cannon in the Stone Sea, your attack power in reality will increase by 50 points, stacking with your original strength. Chapter 7, Mobilized Soldiers Upgrade to Private, gaining Molotov cocktail skill, roasting pigs delightfully with 50 points of attack. No wonder the gunner controlling the watchtower cannon has the same attack power as the mobilized soldier holding the AK weapon. It seems that these soldiers are at a low level without weapons in this world. Picking up a weapon boosts their attack power by 50 points directly. Just like in the previous Grey Wolf Forest dungeon, the Grey Wolves there have only about 60 to 70 health points, and the Gnolls have merely 150 points. Under the muzzle of the gun, they easily fall to the ground. After realizing this, Subai was so excited that he couldn't sleep all night. The next day, he woke up still full of energy. He had a hasty breakfast and then left the city to tackle the next dungeon. The previous level 6 dungeon no longer provided experience since he had leveled up to level 5, so he decided to switch to another dungeon, Wild Boar Lumberyard. This was an 8-level solo dungeon. The main reason for taking on this dungeon was that he didn't know any classmates from school. To avoid unnecessary trouble like yesterday when the police showed up. As he stepped inside, he saw a forest that had been felled. A group of pig-headed people wielding axes roamed near a small house in the woods. With a whoosh, he summoned his troops. 5 mobilized soldiers emerged from a white light in his chest and appeared beside Subai. With a twist of his neck, the 5 soldiers simultaneously declared they were ready. Good. Listen up, I'll act as the meat shield, and you all provide cover from behind. Remember not to shoot me. The soldiers nodded in compliance. Subai immediately moved his body and charged ahead, swinging a punch at a pig-headed person who was hauling wood. His fist smashed into the pig-headed creature's head, causing it to burst open. He followed up with several more punches until the creature's head was completely obliterated. Subai then kicked it in the stomach, and the pig-headed creature fell without a sound, right in front of him. Experience gained, 12. Seeing his 50 attack power, Subai felt a surge of joy. At the same time, the other pig-headed creatures became alert and charged at him. The mobilized soldiers quickly provided fire support. A harvesting battle for experience began. Half an hour later, all the pig-headed creatures around the cabin had been cleared out. Just then, a horn sounded in his mind. Mobilized Soldier 001 upgraded to Corporal. Immediately after, another horn sounded. Mobilized Soldier 002 upgraded to Corporal. Subai was momentarily stunned. What had he just heard? Soldiers leveling up. In the Red Alert game, all troop types could be upgraded, from 1 star to 3 stars. Reaching 3 stars represented a significant qualitative leap. Subai opened the Mobilization Unit attribute panel. Mobilization Unit 001. Strength 52. Agility 33. Defense 03. Health 5020. The increase didn't seem significant, and he felt a bit gloomy after seeing the boost. The health had only increased from 50 to 70. If he got caught by a monster, it would still take only 2 hits to be done for. Suddenly, a loud pig squeal erupted from a house in the distance. The door of the wooden cabin was kicked off its hinges in an instant. A giant pig, 5 meters long with black tusks, charged out. It directly lunged towards Subai's mobilization unit group. Realizing the danger, Subai regretted being careless. The final boss had appeared. There was no time to reorganize the mobilization units, so he charged forward, positioning himself between the units and the wild boar. He grabbed the tusks with both hands to block its advance. The boar's strength was indeed formidable. Even with all his effort, Subai found himself pushed back slightly. To his surprise, the mobilization units pulled out 2 Molotov cocktails from their gear and lit them. They threw them directly onto the pig's back. The flames from the vodka ignited quickly on the pig's skin, producing a large amount of black smoke, causing the boar to squeal in pain. The boar immediately retreated, giving Subai a moment to catch his breath. Meanwhile, the mobilization units opened fire again, unleashing a barrage of bullets from their AKs aimed at the pig's rear. Amidst the flying flesh, the giant pig collapsed to the ground, motionless. Experience gained, 50. Wow. The mobilization units had gained the skill to use Molotov cocktails after leveling up. This was amazing. With this skill, they could gather monsters together to inflict area damage and continuous bleeding. He had really underestimated the upgraded mobilization units. Just imagining if he had thousands of these mobilization brothers. It would be a massacre. At least he could be a warlord-level figure. Just as he caught his breath, 4 or 5 pig-headed men emerged from the wooden house, but they were quickly taken down by the mobilization units. However, after that wave, another group of wild boars spawned inside. It seemed that this wooden house was an infinite spawn point. If it kept spawning like this, it wouldn't be a problem. But there was a downside. Each wave of pig-headed men gave half the experience of the previous wave. Now killing one only yielded 3 experience points. At this moment, Subai remembered a key point written on the notice at the entrance of the dungeon, which stated that the wooden house spawned monsters indefinitely. After defeating a wave, it advised to not linger and to leave quickly. But Subai was stubborn. Damn it. He couldn't believe that a wooden house could spawn so many monsters. You two keep throwing Molotov cocktails at the wooden house. I don't believe that even if we set it on fire, it can still spawn monsters. The 2 leveled up soldiers placed their AKs behind them and pulled out a Molotov cocktail from their military coats. They lit it, ignited it, and threw it in one smooth motion. The Molotov smashed against the wooden house and began to burn continuously. The wood, engulfed in flames, crackled loudly. After throwing 5 or 6 more Molotov cocktails, the entire wooden house was reduced to ashes, and no pig-headed creatures emerged from it anymore. This made Subai smirk coldly. Even if it's an infinite spawn point, I can take it down. Amidst the ruins, a bronze treasure chest appeared, surprising Subai. Just moments ago, he had defeated a 5-meter-long wild boar and received a wooden chest. Now, after burning the spawn point, a bronze treasure chest showed up. He approached the bronze chest with a nervous heart and opened it. A purple light shot out, revealing 2 pieces of equipment. Little Red Riding Hood's pendant. Quality, rare. Agility, 6. Health, 10. This piece of equipment wasn't even mentioned on the sign displayed at the entrance of the dungeon. Could it be that he had obtained a hidden item? Subai thought for a moment. It was indeed possible. After all, who would casually use fire to burn a spawn point? If it were someone at a higher level, they wouldn't bother coming to such a low-level dungeon to use their advanced troops to release fire skills. Could this equipment be the first he had ever obtained? In a moment of confusion, he decided not to overthink it and equipped it right away. Then he took out the other piece of equipment from the chest. Little Red Riding Hood's pendant. Quality, rare. Agility, 6. Health, 10. He was speechless. The 2 pieces of equipment were identical. Come on, can I get something different? Although the equipment attributes are good, each person can only wear 1 necklace. Having an extra one doesn't increase attributes. He had no choice but to drape one over his shoulder to avoid losing it. Chapter 8. The sucker Subai, who had stopped being a sucker, faced a sudden challenge. As he exited the dungeon, it was already 10 a.m. The area in front of the dungeon had become lively, with many students gathered at the entrance discussing strategies and tips for clearing the dungeon. There were students from Subai's school as well as from other schools. One thing was clear. Those who could tackle this dungeon were not to be underestimated. Next to these individuals, many small vendors had started their businesses. After all, students challenge these dungeons every day. It's essential to have a good meal beforehand. No one wants to die of starvation inside. At this moment, Subai felt hungry too. He found a stall and sat down, ordering a plate of cold noodles. Within 3 minutes, a bowl of spicy cold noodles was served, topped with crystal clear bean sprouts. Taking a bite, he felt the smooth texture burst in his mouth. Hey, that necklace on your arm is of great quality. A student at the same table accidentally noticed the extra necklace tied around Subai's arm. Subai took a bite of the cold noodles. Just made. Can you show me its attributes? I'd like to take a look. In this world, displaying attributes doesn't require the involvement of 2 people. If the other party is willing, the attributes can naturally be revealed. The student became excited upon seeing it. Oh my gosh, top-notch. The best of the best. How did you get it? It just dropped randomly. The other party swallowed hard. Bro, can you sell it to me? Gold coins or cash, I'm flexible. Subai was also in need of money and saw a business opportunity. He wanted to get rid of the extra necklace. How much will you offer? 200,000 or 680 gold coins. Subai didn't expect the price to be so high. Just as he was about to agree, several students from the neighboring stall gathered around. They were also shocked after seeing the necklace's attributes, which attracted even more students. Soon, Subai was surrounded. Sell it to me. I'll pay more. Don't listen to him. I have a top item we can trade. How much gold do you want? We can negotiate. I'm from an auction house. Would you be interested in learning more? With so many inquiries, Subai lost the desire to sell. After all, the equipment was something he earned through effort, not something that came easy. Why sell it at a low price when he could get a high one? Many of these students seemed to want to become second-hand dealers, buying from Subai and then reselling for a profit. He quickly finished his cold noodles, pushed through the crowd, and continued to dive into dungeons. However, in the next 3 dungeons, he failed to find any rare equipment. The only item he acquired was a pair of pigskin boots, which provided a defense boost of 4 points, while the rest of the equipment was just wooden gear, the most basic kind. At this point, Subai's level had reached 6, surpassing the class average, and he was making rapid progress. Character level, LV 6, Strength, 91, Agility, 151, Defense, 54, Health, 7,510. How should he put it? Although he leveled up quickly, the issue was that Subai's inherent talent was simply too poor. His base attributes were significantly lower than others, not to mention the upgrades he received. Others were gaining an increase of 23 points in strength, while he was only inching up a little bit. The most important thing was, Subai does not possess the attribute of awakened energy. The base value of the energy attribute after awakening is 100 points. For every 100 points, he can increase the number of awakened units by 1. After summoning soldiers, the energy points reset to 0. Only by eating, sleeping, and resting can he restore energy. With each level up, the energy value increases by either 100 or 200 points. It can only be said that the original owner of Subai's body was a complete waste. Fortunately, he has the red alert system. As long as he has gold, he can continuously produce soldiers and buildings, and then slowly upgrade. Who knows, he might even be able to create an apocalypse tank. By the next day, Subai's previously requested leave was used up, which was of course due to his early leave from the detention center. He finally returned to the First Guard Academy. As soon as he entered the classroom, he immediately drew laughter from all his classmates. Wow, the great god is back. Fei Yangyang has returned. Bro, Was the food in the detention center good? Actually, you don't know, but once when you bought sanitary pads for Wang Kiki, I was hiding in the cupboard. This is what happens when you are a simp. You end up in jail after a fight, and now Zhao Haoyan has become the class monitor. With Su Bai's small frame, he wouldn't even be able to withstand a single punch, huh? Su Bai ignored their sarcastic remarks and returned to his seat. Instead, he took out the necklace he had crafted and displayed it from his collar, intentionally showcasing its attributes. This made the classmates a bit envious. Where on earth did Su Bai get this gear? This is top-notch. Did he hit the jackpot? Forget it. This is fate, and one's destiny is predetermined. Who can say for sure? How can this be? The weakest unit in the school gets this top-notch item. It's like a good cabbage being spoiled by a pig. At that moment, Su Bai's ex-girlfriend Wang Kiki happily sat beside him. I bought jelly pudding. Let me treat you. Su Bai didn't even raise his eyes. Aren't you supposed to be with your Zhao Gongzi? Why are you looking for me? Su Bai replied coldly. Oh, come on. Look at you, still so petty. It was all a misunderstanding. We just accidentally got a bit closer. If it got closer, does that mean it got hot? And if it's hot, does that mean we want to take off our clothes and play cards? What are you talking about? Don't make wild guesses. Can you give me the necklace you got? My health points are low, and I just want a necklace that boosts health. Be magnanimous and forgive me. As she spoke, Wang Kiki revealed an innocent smile. Su Bai thought to himself, this girl is really something. They had already broken up, yet she was still clinging to him, now fixating on his necklace. Su Bai coldly smiled. This necklace you mentioned? Are we that familiar? To put it bluntly, someone like you isn't worth my time. If I sold this necklace, I could go out and enjoy myself every single day for a year without repeating an experience, and I'd still have money to spare. Why should I give it to you? Wang Kiki could hardly believe her ears. How could this simp suddenly stop fawning over her? It didn't make sense. Before, even when she openly brought other men around and called them her guy best friends, Su Bai would forgive her. Whatever she wanted, Su Bai would buy. Now, he dared to say such things? In an instant, Wang Kiki flew into a rage. She stood up, pointed at Su Bai's face, and yelled, You think you're too good for my generosity? Let me tell you, who even wants your crappy necklace? A loser like you makes me sick. I'm with squad leader Zhao now. He can get me as many of these necklaces as I want from the dungeons. Stop acting all high and mighty. Chapter 9. Su Bai's mobilized forces surpassed 20, joining the spring recruitment. As Wang Kiki continued her tirade, Su Bai remained silent, a faint smile on his lips. The outburst lasted a full 5 minutes. By the time she ran out of steam, the whole class assumed Su Bai was still the same pushover he'd always been. Only then did Su Bai rise from his seat and walk to the podium. He turned on the teacher's projector and displayed Zhao Haoyan's HIV test strip for everyone to see. Calmly, he remarked, Finished your little performance, princess? I doubt your beloved Zhao has time to fetch necklaces for you now. Getting treatment should be his priority. What do you mean? The test results were projected onto the blackboard, and the classroom erupted instantly. Holy crap, the squad leader has AIDS? Damn it, we were just at the spa together. What if he infected me? I heard Zhao Haoyan fooled around a lot. Rumor has it he got treated for syphilis before. But I never expected AIDS. If that's the case, then Wang Kiki, who's been with him, must be. The class buzzed with chatter. Many watched the drama unfold with amusement, while a few of the more handsome male students began trembling uncontrollably. Quietly, they slipped out the back door of the classroom, heading straight to the hospital to get themselves tested. Su Bai was taken aback. Wow. Wang Kiki was on another level. She hadn't just been with Zhao Haoyan, but had hooked up with several other classmates too. Seeing the test results, Wang Kiki looked as if she'd been struck by lightning, her face ashen. Su Bai smiled and said, Well, thank you for your affection, Miss Wang. Thanks to you. We never even kissed. I appreciate you sparing me. He clasped his hands together and bowed to her twice mockingly before turning off the projector. Just then, squad leader Zhao Haoyan walked into the classroom, having playfully slapped a female student from another class on the backside in the hallway. Seeing everyone smiling, he was confused but couldn't help grinning back. Good morning, everyone. Is there any good news to share? Wang Kiki turned around to look at Zhao Haoyan, who was standing at the door. She was so angry that her teeth were clenched and her temper was flaring. Zhao Haoyan. Kiki, what's wrong with you? With a loud slap, a heavy hand landed on Zhao Haoyan's face, causing his left cheek to rise high. Immediately afterward, Wang Kiki kicked him in the stomach with her high heel, knocking Zhao Haoyan to the ground. Without looking back, she ran towards the hospital for a checkup. Zhao Haoyan was stunned as soon as he opened the door and got slapped. He rubbed his stomach and got up from the floor. Glancing around, he noticed that his classmates' eyes were all on Su Bai. He suddenly understood something. Su Bai? What the hell are you doing? Are you itching for a fight? Oh, isn't this the class monitor? I've been waiting for you. After our last encounter at the hospital, I waited for you outside the hospital for an entire afternoon. But you never came back to get your things. You didn't forget, did you? A lab report waved in front of Zhao Haoyan's eyes. Su Bai? I swear I'll kill you. Do you believe me? Zhao Haoyan had searched for this lab report for days after going home, but couldn't find it. He was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. After all, He needed this report to go to the health center to collect his medication. Now, it had unexpectedly appeared in Subai's hands. Furious, he snatched the report from Subai. He was ready to unleash his two-headed ogre class and turn Subai into meat paste. At that moment, their homeroom teacher, Mr. Wu, walked in. Zhao Haoyan took a deep breath. Ignoring Mr. Wu's greeting, he turned and headed to the health center. Treating his illness was more important. As he left, he swore again at the classroom door. Subai, you better be careful. If I catch you, I will definitely take you down. Mr. Wu didn't understand what had happened, but he noticed that Subai had returned to class and couldn't help but nod. The class began. As class was about to end, Mr. Wu mentioned another matter. In 3 days, the national spring recruitment for high school students would begin. As long as Shihai Middle School had 20 soldiers, they could go to the tactical square in the city center to participate in the test. Students selected for the recruitment would receive greater resources to train their classes and have higher-level dungeons to challenge. This was an exam that every ordinary school student wanted to participate in, and Subai was no exception. However, he only had 6 mobilized soldiers, and, unlike other students, he couldn't accumulate energy to summon more. He could only rely on his financial resources. After school, he immediately packed his bag, planning to sell the extra necklace he had for some money. Just as he stepped out of the school gate, he ran straight into Su Xiaoya. It seemed like she was specifically waiting for him at the school entrance. Have you heard? The spring recruitment is coming soon. Which higher education institution is Subai applying to? To be honest, Subai isn't very confident. I'm not sure either. Let's see the results when they come out. Xiaoya, which school are you applying to? Hee, wherever Subai applies, I'll apply there too. Hearing this warmed Subai's heart. Not being a sycophant made the whole world seem brighter. Stop talking nonsense. Let us go set up a stall at the hospital entrance. Why are we going there again? You little girl, still trying to slack off. I've already paid you. It's time for you to work. With that, Subai playfully gave Su Xiaoya a light tap on the head. Stop hitting me. It hurts, Subai? The two left the school chatting and laughing, which made the boys in Subai's class feel a bit envious. In this world, the campus bell is actually with the useless Subai. When did being useless become so appealing? After returning home in the evening, Subai sold the equipment he had obtained, and now he had 900 coins. He currently had 6 mobilized soldiers. Subai immediately recruited 14 more, bringing his total to 20 soldiers. He still had 500 coins left. This time, Subai no longer hesitated. He finally chose to build a mining facility. After a brief moment of waiting, the building section in the right menu started flashing continuously. The mining facility was ready. Subai chose a relatively flat area in the stone sea to deploy the mining facility. With a sound of crack, a red mining facility rose from the ground. The ore conveyor belt began to operate nonstop, and thick black smoke billowed from the refinery. A mining vehicle from the facility stopped at the entrance. How can funds be collected? Just as Subai was puzzled, the mining vehicle started to operate on its own. It left the facility and moved forward continuously until it reached a rugged area in the stone sea. The plow in front of the mining vehicle began to spin and roll. The stones in the sea were shattered into smaller pieces, which were then sucked into the mining vehicle. This scene was truly amazing. Previously, in Subai's stone sea, the flat land was only the size of a small palm. Just placing a few buildings would make space tight. Now, with the mining vehicle continuously working, the area of flat land was getting larger. This way, more buildings could be placed in the future. However, he currently had no green space left to place the remaining buildings. Chapter 10, Group Day Tour, Challenge 30-Person Dungeon. Tour guide dies at the start. Subai reaps all the experience. The most incredible part was that after placing the mining facility, according to the system's prompt, each mining cart can bring in an income of 500 funds per day, which means that Subai can increase the number of soldiers in his heart just by doing nothing and lying down to sleep. Wow, isn't that amazing? On the other side, Zhao Haoyan returned home, looking at the test report and a bottle of medicine in his hand. He was so angry that his teeth felt itchy. Not only was he angry, but he also regretted it. He had no idea who he caught it from. Damn it. He cursed and smashed the medicine on the ground. Hearing the commotion outside, his mother felt a bit worried and opened the door to walk in. As soon as Zhao Haoyan saw his mother come in while he was fuming, he quickly picked up the medicine he had just thrown on the floor and hid it in his arms. How, what's wrong? His mother asked, concerned as she saw him lying on the ground. Mom, he started but couldn't finish his sentence. Are you afraid you won't be able to get first place in the exam? Don't worry, your dad and I have arranged everything for you. We'll spend a lot of money to rent you the best equipment. You will definitely get first place. Upon hearing this, Zhao Haoyan's eyes brightened, and the gloom he felt just moments ago vanished. Having money at home really does open doors. To prepare for the upcoming exam, Subai signed up for a group tour the next day. After paying a certain amount of gold coins, he boarded the bus heading to the suburbs. On the bus, a retired soldier acted as the tour guide for the group instance. Students, I know you all come from various schools in the city and are ambitious young people. To gain admission to your ideal schools, You have not rested even at the last moment, and this spirit is commendable. However, I must inform you that the instance we are about to enter is of high level, and the monsters are dangerous. You must listen to the commands. This is a 30-person raid. Follow the guide's arrangements. You are here to gain experience, so don't greedily pick up items. Do you understand? Especially you 10 or so. Both boys and girls. No dating in the instance, got it? The guide then explained the dangers of the instance and the monsters inside. The group that Subai joined was led by a military expert, and the students were responsible for gaining cross-level experience. After the guide finished speaking, he began the usual sales pitch. Some health-restoring potions and energy-restoring potions were sold on the bus. The effectiveness was unknown, but the prices were quite high. Seeing that there was no useful information left, Subai pulled the hood of his sweatshirt over his face and began to sleep on the bus. The roads in the suburbs were bumpy, making the ride quite uncomfortable. By the time they arrived, 7 or 8 of the 30 students had gotten off the bus to vomit. After 15 minutes, everyone was ready. The tour guide activated the instance. Tree Demon Forest, instance level 9, loot, gold, small chance of dropping basic equipment, recommended team size, 30 people. Everyone stepped into the instance together. The guide shouted loudly, 40 goblins have been released. Hee, a group of battle-hardened goblin warriors. Just follow along to gain experience. Remember, all the equipment and gold are mine, so don't pick anything up. The students behind him nodded quickly. After all, they paid to gain experience to prepare for the upcoming exam. Suddenly, the guide shouted again, and the goblins scattered through the forest with their small, curved daggers. After a series of slashing sounds, the students felt experience points flowing into their bodies. Wow, the experience is incredible. With 30 people sharing, each person can still get 7 points of experience. Plus, with so many monsters clustered together, the leveling speed is like riding a rocket. Spending 10,000 for this group tour is definitely worth it. It's just that the extra charges inside are too many. And the guide has pushed too many items along the way. By the time they reached the instance, I had already spent nearly 80,000. Everyone was extremely excited. Not long after, the area at the entrance of the instance was cleared of monsters. There were 5 wooden treasure chests appearing. The guide opened them enthusiastically, smiling. The gazes of the others were greedy, but unfortunately, they couldn't get any of those chests for themselves. Just as the guide was about to open the last chest, it suddenly opened, revealing a wide mouth with 2 sharp teeth, which bit off the guide's head. The guide, who was happily picking up gold, died suddenly. With the master dead, the goblins that had awakened in their hearts immediately turned into neutral units and charged towards the students. Summon. Mantis Warrior. Come forth, 6-winged centipede. Block for me. Giant snail. Seeing the situation was dire, the students each summoned their own units. Excluding Subai, over 20 people summoned nearly 400 soldiers. Unfortunately, the levels of these soldiers were low, and their attack power was weak. Facing the high-level goblins under the guide, they appeared powerless. The goblins, relying on their agile movements, quickly took down many of the summoned soldiers. Some female students were directly captured by the goblins and taken to the nearby woods. Hee, Saintus, I want to join too. So many. Breed. The goblins lewdly said while carrying away the female students. After 7 or 8 female classmates were taken away, the remaining male students shivered in fear. What should we do? The guide is dead. We can't get out. To enter the instance means either to clear it or to die. Why am I so unlucky? My girlfriend has been taken away. Who can help me save her? My girlfriend has also been captured. What should I do? I heard that women taken by goblins have to bear children for them. Oh no. Does that mean I'm going to be cheated on? This is bad. The Trans are no match for them. After the recent battle, all the troops in my hands are gone. This result took Subai by surprise. But it's also a good opportunity for him to level up. As long as he moves more than 50 meters away from the team, he can gain 100 of the experience from the dungeon without sharing it with others. So Subai flapped his wings. 20 trained mobilized soldiers formed a square formation and opened fire ahead. After a series of gunshots, the treasure chest monster was annihilated. The guide's round head rolled out from inside. An equipment piece also dropped from the chest. Traiant leather armor, defense. 4. Seeing the equipment, Subai was delighted. The treasure chest monster truly lived up to its name. The dropped equipment was even better than what he was wearing. Without hesitation, he took off the wooden armor and equipped this new piece that had 2 more points of defense. After the gunfire, the students seemed to regain some composure. Hey, are you really going into the forest? Aren't you afraid of dying? Can your human soldiers handle it? Subai rolled his eyes. You all wait here. Once I clear the dungeon, you can just follow the path out. The group looked at him skeptically. Attacking a 30-person dungeon with such weak troops? Was this guy drunk or out of his mind? Chapter 11. Burning and killing all the way, the mobilized soldiers continue to level up and acquire new skills. Bang 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 bang. Experience gained. 30. Experience gained. 30. Experience gained. 30. The mobilized soldiers are ready. The mobilized soldiers are ready. The mobilized soldiers are ready. In the forest, there were corpses of trance everywhere. Monsters surged in waves. The mobilized soldiers fired, and monsters fell, but they still couldn't stop the onslaught. Subai had no choice but to release all his funds and summon 30 more mobilized soldiers from the Stone Sea. After this round of summoning, Subai's mobilized soldiers reached 50, equivalent to a combat squad. Watching his troops follow his orders, Subai felt like a real commander for a moment. After all, he could be considered a squad leader in an army. Time passed, and they had fought deep into the dense forest. Towering trees surrounded them, many of which had ugly human faces. When they saw Subai's formation approaching, they waved their vines like snakes, trying to entangle them. As before, Subai signaled to open fire. Bullets rained down on the numerous vines. Unfortunately, these vines were thin and fast, and their small targets were difficult to hit. Even when struck, the most they would suffer was being severed in two, which wouldn't hinder their advance in the slightest. No wonder this was a 30-person dungeon. With so few people facing a forest filled with attacking vines, even elite troops would sustain damage. However, Subai's mobilized troops were seasoned veterans. Upon seeing that their previous attack had failed, they immediately changed formation. The sergeant veteran used Molotov cocktails to hurl at the distant face trees. To their surprise, the flames were highly effective against the trees. The ignited face trees emitted a series of piercing wails. The bark made of faces began to twist, wither, and die. The forest was filled with the stench of blood and burnt flesh, accompanied by the screams of the face trees and the crackling of burning bark. The previously aggressive vines also came to a halt, as if they had lost their strength. Subai looked at his rapidly increasing experience points, which had already reached 70. The speed of leveling up was impressive. After the obstruction of the face trees was burned away, a stone wall appeared behind them. From there, many women's voices could be heard, seemingly crying and wailing. In a certain province's public security bureau, Director Chi was struck like a bolt from the blue upon learning that his daughter was trapped in a 30-person dungeon in the suburbs. He almost lost his balance. Have you contacted the remaining students in the dungeon? Tell all of them, including my daughter, to stay put and not move. I will send armed police to rescue them immediately. He commanded the local police station. Director Chi. Classmates from the same school said that Sweetie was captured by goblins released by the tour guide. What? Hurry. Prepare the vehicle. I will personally head to the scene. Subai climbed up a charred tree to look beyond the stone wall. In the distance, a group of goblins released by the tour guide were having a party in an open area behind the wall. The female students were trembling in wooden cages, held captive by a crafty bunch of goblins. Meanwhile, the final boss, the plant spirit, was being lined up by the goblins. Wow, these goblins are quite audacious. No wonder the tour guide was confident about soloing this dungeon. It turned out these goblins were not only agile but also skilled at crafting arrows and building cages from local materials. Additionally, they were inherently evil, cruel, and greedy. Truly a troublesome enemy. However, on second thought, if these goblins were this strong, perhaps defeating them would yield a lot of experience points. He was about to level up soon. Spread out. Engage in long-range fire. Do not entangle with these goblins. After giving the command, 50 mobilized soldiers scattered at the squad level. In the cage, Chi Tiantian trembled. Just a moment ago, a girl beside her had been taken away by a goblin. Now, she had just been returned. When she left, she was fine, but upon returning, she was thrown back into the cage like a dead dog. The girl's eyes were vacant and hollow, her body limp like a noodle. Her stomach was swollen like a balloon, evidently having suffered inhuman torment from the goblins. At that moment, her cage opened. No, don't grab me. Her heart was in despair, wishing for a Prince Charming to come and rescue her. She would willingly offer herself. Even to a rough-looking old man, anything was better than these goblins. In the distance, the mobilized soldiers were ready. They began their long-range shooting. A bullet struck the goblin holding Chi Tiantian, creating a hole in its arm. However, it did not inflict a fatal injury. The goblin released the girl and started screaming. Meanwhile, other goblins were also hit by bullets and began to retaliate with their bows and arrows. Swish, 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 wooden arrows flew out. Subai noticed that these goblins were not only skillful but also quite agile. They quickly recovered from the ambush of his soldiers and began to counterattack effectively. However, a comical scene unfolded as the arrows fell short, stopping halfway. Subai slapped his thigh, immediately realizing what was happening. The homemade bows and arrows lacked range. No matter how one looked at it, they were still cold weapons. The longest range of the British longbow, for instance, could only reach 300 meters. In contrast, the AK-47 in the mobilized soldiers' hands had a minimum effective range of 300 meters, capable of reaching targets even at 400 meters. These goblins' homemade bows seemed to have a range of less than 100 meters. Was this not just pure beating? Cold weapons should never be pitted against hot weapons, or else one ends up in this situation. The nimble little goblins were being slaughtered. Subai watched as they dodged back and forth like they were dancing, unable to help but laugh. It was quite a ridiculous sight. In less than a tea break, more than a dozen of the resisting goblins had already fallen. The remaining goblins realized that their bows and arrows were ineffective for retaliation, so they simply dropped them and took cover behind the stone walls in the open ground, choosing to defend themselves and wait for their chance. Subai cursed under his breath. These little rascals are quite clever, which fits the character of a tour guide. A purely upgrade-focused group turned into a high-priced shopping tour when it got to him. It seems that the kind of person one is also nurtures the kind of soldier they become. The appearance comes from the heart. After finishing this round against the goblins, 10 veterans directly leveled up to the rank of sergeant. Subai opened the attribute panel to observe the soldier's information. Mobilized soldier, 001. Strength, 73. Agility, 64. Defense, 33. Health, 7,030. Skill, Molotov cocktail, bayonet. Seeing the bayonet skill, Subai's eyes lit up. With a bayonet attached to the front of the AK-47, even if the enemy was very close to his mobilized soldiers, they now had the strength to fight back. Chapter 12. Fierce battle against the goblin hero. Obtain storage ring. All units, bayonet. With Subai's command, the veteran soldiers each attached a 40-centimeter long triangular bayonet to the front of their AK-47s. The gleaming bayonets shone brightly in front of Subai. The bayonets were triangular in shape, each side equipped with blood grooves. The tips were extremely sharp, and the blades were very thick, ensuring both sharpness and durability. Charge! The veterans led the way, followed by the new recruits, as they began their assault towards the goblins behind the stone wall. Meanwhile, the goblins behind the wall let out a series of sinister laughs. Hearing this, Subai was taken aback and quickly ordered his mobilized soldiers to spread out. There was indeed something suspicious going on. Suddenly, all the goblins hiding behind the wall poked their heads out, holding slingshots and throwing large stones the size of bricks. Subai cursed inwardly, almost underestimating this group of goblins. The goblins behind the stone wall hurled stones at the mobilized soldiers using women's stockings as ropes to create slingshots. One mobilized soldier was hit in the forehead by a stone, blood gushing out as he shouted, "For the homeland," before collapsing to the ground. Damn, they hit hard. The mobilized soldiers quickly regained their fighting stance after spreading out. They began throwing Molotov cocktails at the goblins behind the stone wall while opening fire. Some goblins caught fire and ran out screaming, while those armed with triangular bayonets ruthlessly began to reap their foes. The bayonets plunged into the goblins' chests like swords. The green muscles of the goblins began to contract, and the more they struggled, the larger the wounds caused by the bayonets became. Blood flowed continuously from the 3 grooves. The goblins that were stabbed could no longer endure the pain, letting out heartbreaking screams as they desperately tried to pull out the bayonets with both hands. Their agile bodies managed to extract the bayonets, but unfortunately, the wounds were star-shaped. Blood gushed out, and after just a few steps, they collapsed to the ground. A series of blood fountains erupted. Experience gained, 52. Experience gained, 52. Experience gained, 52. Experience quickly surged, and soon it reached 99. At this moment, the battlefield was nearly cleared of the small goblins, with only one goblin sage left struggling. Subai had heard during his school days that after awakening their class, individuals could summon hero units with a chance after continuous training and leveling up. The goblin sage before him was far more powerful than the small goblins who only knew how to wield weapons. This fellow was likely the pride of the tour guide as a hero. The goblin sage was dodging bullets and firebombs while chanting spells. Its hands were busy applying voodoo sludge to the wounds that had been torn apart by bullets. In the next moment, the damaged skin began to heal. It truly seemed like a formidable opponent. Meanwhile, the veteran soldier with a bayonet had finished off the remaining goblins, and the new recruits had completed their suppression, cornering the agile goblin sage. At the same time, 6 mobilized soldiers rushed in from all directions, shouting, "Hurrah! Hurrah! Hurrah!" They plunged their tridents into the goblin sage's body, piercing through it completely. Blood flowed profusely from multiple wounds, but even so, the mobilized soldiers did not stop their assault. Subai stood by, watching with interest as the sage was mercilessly slaughtered. How dare it harm its own mobilized soldiers? It was asking for death. In the end, Subai also landed a punch, shattering its forehead. The goblin sage fell. Suddenly, a flash of purple light flickered. From the fallen goblin's corpse burst forth a purple treasure chest. As the purple light faded, it turned out to be a silver chest. Subai was taken aback. The shadow of a previously fallen mobilized soldier lifted, replaced by overwhelming joy. A silver treasure chest. This dungeon had seen countless tour groups come and go. Yet no one had ever heard of a silver treasure chest dropping. Such a chest could only appear if the tour guide had died and the goblins had betrayed him. Moreover, items dropped upon the death of a hero unit. It was pure luck for him to encounter this. He knew that the chances of the tour guide accidentally dying in the dungeon were already low. The probability of betrayal when their units were still outside was even lower. The chance of him defeating a hero unit like the Goblin Sage was even slimmer. Therefore, Subai felt that he was incredibly lucky today. Without any hesitation, he commanded the troops to break open the lock of the treasure chest with the butt of their guns, to prevent the chest from suddenly transforming into a monster to launch a surprise attack. A purple light flashed, blindingly bright. When the light faded, Subai took out a translucent ring from the chest. The ring emanated a purple glow, its surface shining like amethyst. Amethyst Storage Ring. Defense 1. Special function. Creates a 1 cubic meter storage space inside the ring for the wearer's convenience. Seeing the item description, Subai felt a bit excited. It turned out to be a storage ring. This item, how should one put it? It is rare, but not particularly valuable. The reason is simple. Everyone knows that dungeons can drop equipment. Each person carries a military backpack, where they can store all the money and gear they find. Although it can be a bit heavy to carry, the cost-performance ratio of a backpack is more advantageous. In contrast, storage rings are rare and hard to come by. Yet they are quite expensive. Especially this one he found. While it is indeed rare, he learned in his humanities studies that such equipment is categorized into different grades. The highest level can have infinite cubic space, which is legendary equipment. Even the mid-range ones have about 10 cubic meters of space and are very useful. However, the one he obtained is the lowest grade, with just 1 cubic meter. Its price is less than that of a backpack, yet it is still quite rare. One could say it is acceptable. After searching around, he found no more items. Meanwhile, the exit of the dungeon had already opened. He ordered the troops to release all the imprisoned female students. Report. One woman cannot stand up, a soldier reported. Oh. Subai walked over and saw a female student in a JK uniform, half kneeling on the ground, trembling. She had 2 beautiful ponytails, a slender figure, a delicate face, and a sweet, lovely appearance, exuding a girlish charm. Tears were in her eyes, clearly frightened by everything that had just happened. Can you stand up? Subai asked. His youthful voice instantly brought her back to reality. She looked up and saw a handsome face. I can't stand up, my legs are weak, she said after a long pause in a delicate voice. Subai glanced over, noticing her smooth, fair legs curled up tightly. Chapter 13. The Provincial Public Security Department Director personally awards Subai. Honor overflows. Looking at the beautiful girl in front of him, Subai couldn't help but swallow. Her looks were absolutely comparable to Su Xiaoya, truly a campus beauty. However, he didn't recall seeing such a stunning girl in his school. Could it be that she wasn't from his school? Such a beautiful girl. It would be wonderful if she could be my girlfriend. Just looking at her legs, I could enjoy them for years. Setting aside those thoughts, Subai quickly composed himself and reached out to pull her up. To his surprise, the JK beauty directly grabbed Subai's back tightly, almost squeezing the breath out of him. Not only that, the girl looked up and said, "Don't talk, kiss me." Subai felt as if the world was spinning around him. It was as if he could hear a joyful symphony playing in the background. It was incredibly surreal. He even felt grateful to the goblins from earlier. Without them, how could he have experienced the beauty's enthusiastic embrace? In the next moment, he felt a gentle touch on his lips. His hand trembled slightly. As their lips parted, the girl seemed to stop shaking. Thank you for saving me. My name is Chi Tiantian. After getting to know her, Subai learned that Chi Tiantian was from the 2nd Guard Academy, which was indeed a different school from his. However, he didn't care much about that. He kept insisting that it was getting late and mentioned that he knew of a nearby hotel where they could easily spend the night. Meanwhile, a dozen police cars were parked in front of a group of about 30 people, blaring their sirens. The head of the Public Security Bureau got out of the car. Have you contacted the students inside? Hurry up and share the dungeon progress with them. Let our people in, quickly. Director Chi was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan, pacing back and forth. The police chief nodded. We've already contacted the students inside. And once everyone is in position, we'll prepare to go in and rescue them. I want to go too. Director Chi insisted. That is unnecessary. We can handle this situation, the police chief quickly advised. Do you know? My daughter is also inside. I must go? Hearing Director Chi's furious outburst, the police chief dared not speak further. The group lined up in front of the dungeon entrance, preparing to enter. At that moment, another exit door next to the entrance suddenly unlocked. This unexpected sight left everyone perplexed. Could it be that the students inside broke through the dungeon? At the same time, the female students rescued by Subai rushed out from inside. Upon seeing the police, they immediately ran over, crying and holding their heads. This completely bewildered the officers. Director Chi quickly grabbed one girl's wrist and asked, "How did you get out? Have you seen my daughter, Chi Tiantian?" "Officer, the guide died unexpectedly. His goblins betrayed us and captured us. Some classmates were assaulted by them. Boo-hoo." Upon hearing this, Director Chi felt as if he had been struck on the forehead with a heavy hammer. The whole person nearly lost their balance. The police officer beside Tian saw the director of the public security department almost faint and quickly went over to support him. Director Chi, what's wrong? You have to hold on. Tian will be fine. Quick, get the first aid kit and some ice packs to help cool down Director Chi. At this moment, Tian was holding Su Bai's hand, feeling sweet in her heart. She never expected that she would actually meet her Prince Charming, who rescued her from the clutches of a dreadful goblin. Otherwise, she might have ended up giving birth to goblin children. Just the thought of it was terrifying. As the two walked out of the instance exit, they saw numerous police cars parked there. Su Bai opened his mouth, thinking that the police were quite fast. It's also thanks to the presence of the police in this world. Without them, it's estimated that at least hundreds of thousands would die each day from challenging instances. Just then, Tian suddenly pulled Su Bai and rushed in front of a group of police officers. Dad, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? The nearly fainting Director Chi suddenly heard a familiar voice. A powerful force made him open his eyes, and he saw his daughter standing in front of him, complete and unharmed. He could hardly believe his eyes. Tian, are you all right? What could possibly happen to me? Dad, it was classmate Su Bai who saved me from the goblin. Tian recounted what had just happened. The recovered Director Chi looked in shock at Su Bai. This young man had sharp eyebrows and a commanding presence. Though he didn't look like the current popular celebrities, he gave off an impressive aura, almost like a seasoned warrior. Thank you, Su Bai, for saving my daughter. I represent the entire public security department to salute you. After saying this, Director Chi respectfully saluted Su Bai. At the same time, other police officers behind him also saluted Su Bai. This sudden recognition left Su Bai astonished. Wow, this unexpected JK girl's dad is actually the director of the provincial public security department. That's a high-ranking official. Just earlier, when he exited the instance, he had mentioned something about booking a hotel room. I wonder if her dad heard it. I definitely don't want to end up in a detention center again. So, Su Bai awkwardly scratched his head. Uncle Chi, it's only right for classmates to help each other. Tian was just a bit scared. She shouldn't have any serious injuries. There's another group of male classmates waiting for rescue at the instance entrance. Please send someone to help them out as well. Su Bai was looking for something to say. This caught Director Chi's attention, and he couldn't help but admire the young man. He had a spirit reminiscent of his own youth when he bravely went into drug dens to catch traffickers. Young man, which school are you from? The First Guard Academy. I'll report your commendable deeds to your school later. Su Bai nodded in thanks. Then, Director Chi took off a medal from his chest. This is a medal I earned when I was young, fighting drug dealers at Eagle Ridge, despite getting 3 holes in me. Now I give it to you. As a token of gratitude for saving my daughter, a shiny golden medal, radiating a dazzling light. Su Bai's pupils suddenly constricted. This equipment of golden quality. I've heard there are fewer than 1,000 pieces nationwide. This is too precious, Uncle Chi. Director Chi's expression darkened. He said somewhat unhappily, don't want it? Are you looking down on me as the director of the Public Security Bureau? Su Bai had no choice but to accept the medal and hang it around his neck. The powerful attributes made his breathing quicken. Insight Medal, National Special Edition. Defense, 0, Special Function. After wearing this medal, you can observe the attributes of all characters and monsters within 10 levels below your own from a distance. Insight, an equipment with insight ability. This is mostly used by the military. It allows the wearer to perceive the attribute levels of enemies and monsters, enabling the formulation of strategies or decisions to fight or flee. This greatly increases the wearer's chances of survival. It can be considered a godlike piece of equipment. Chapter 14. The spring recruitment exam begins. Mixed troops battle. The victor takes all. After putting it on, Su Bai immediately used this skill on Director Chi. Curious to see how powerful this high-ranking official's attributes really were. Chi Tongwei level. Strength, agility, defense, health. Wow. All of Director Chi's attributes are question marks. It seems his strength is unfathomable. Seeing Su Bai in a daze, Director Chi chuckled and said, Kid, practice your insight for another 10 years. The matter concluded. After the police investigation, this tour group was found to be operating without a license and was identified as a black tour guide group. The police began to hunt for these individuals in the city. Su Bai returned to the city in Director Chi's police car. After saying thank you, he got out of the car and headed home. In the car, Tian pouted at her father and said, Dad, Su Bai helped so much. And you only gave him a medal that doesn't even add any attributes. That's really stingy. My dear daughter, this badge was earned with my life. The honor it represents can't be compared to any attributes. Tian pouted her lips, twirling her ponytail with her fingers. If you want to thank him on my behalf, why not transfer him to the prestigious academy in the capital? At that time, we will be classmates, haha. This would truly help him. Hearing his daughter say this, Director Chi couldn't help but smile bitterly. He indeed had control over a few slots for the prestigious academy in the capital for this year's candidates from Handong province. However, these slots were based on merit. How could he give special treatment to acquaintances? Nevertheless, he still comforted his daughter. On the day of the exam, I will personally go there. That Subai kid really has the skills. The academy will definitely prioritize recommending him. I believe he won't do poorly. Otherwise, he wouldn't have cleared a dungeon with 30 people on his own. After being busy for so many days, Subai returned home, took a shower, and went to bed early. He had a dreamless night and arrived at the exam location the next day, the tactical square. He hurriedly filled in his personal information and joined the line with students from schools across the city to collect their admission tickets. Finally, he entered the venue. The tactical square usually served as a place for students to level up, but it was transformed into an examination hall during exam times. Before the exam started, students from various schools were gathered in the square, engaging in chaotic discussions about the exam. Subai found a corner, leaned against the wall, and sat on the ground. He felt no nervousness about the upcoming exam. Rather, it was more interesting to observe his anxious classmates. These past few days, my family sold the house to get some money, allowing me to join a group for leveling up. I barely managed to raise my soldier count to 20, but unfortunately, all of them are at level 1. I'm not sure if I can get into a higher academy with such low levels. Low levels? I tell you, brother. Leveling up in a group is indeed enjoyable, but strength is the top priority. Out of my 20 soldiers, 5 have already reached level 4, and 2 have reached level 6. Everyone needs to have core combat power. Hey, why are you all panicking? The exam registration fee isn't expensive. If you don't pass this year, there's always next year. It's held once a year. Worst case, you can be a repeat student. You're right, classmate. We Awakened soldiers usually only need to aim for an ordinary school. If we don't do well, we can always repeat. Those prestigious universities and higher academies are reserved for geniuses, and they have nothing to do with us. Geniuses? It seems there are a few in our class this year. I particularly remember there are 2 people in class 2, 1 male and 1 female. The girl awakened by touching the awakening stone directly emitted golden light. The boy also released purple light. Oh, I know about that. The one who emitted golden light is a dragon maiden warrior, born with dragon blood. Not only does she have hardened skin and high defense, but every dragon maiden also has a pair of wings, allowing her to fly in the sky. She's simply invincible. The other boy who awakened is also very strong. He's a 2-headed ogre. That guy has high strength and defense. He can serve as a frontline tank or output damage. Quite impressive. I heard he recently awakened a hero as well. His name seems to be Ogre Chieftain Korgal. Among this year's students in the whole school, he is probably the only one who can awaken a hero. There is no way to compare a genius with ordinary people. They're not taking an exam, but rather selecting a school. We are the ones who have to go through the trial of exams. Especially this year, 2 top universities from the region are recruiting here. I wonder which lucky student will get accepted by these 2 institutions. Who is that hiding in the corner, trembling? A shadow blocked Subai's view. Looking up, he saw Zhao Haotian's arrogant face. Isn't this Subai? What brings you to the exam venue? The minimum requirement to enter the exam is 20 soldiers. This must be tough for you. Just watching, right? You didn't come just to satisfy your curiosity, did you? Subai casually waved his admission ticket hanging around his neck and smiled. Isn't this class leader Zhao? Feeling better? I remember there is still no effective treatment for that illness, so you have to take medication regularly. Did you take your medicine today? Hearing Subai's mockery, Zhao Haotian's face turned crimson, and he squeezed out a few words through gritted teeth. Don't be so cocky. Right now, I could crush you like an ant. Just wait. When we split into battlefields, pray we're not on the same one. Otherwise, I'll turn all your soldiers into mincemeat for my 2-headed ogre to feast on. In Zhao Haotian's eyes, Subai was already a useless person. Over the past few days, he had spent money contacting some tough guys in society. Once he got into a good school, he would have these guys break Subai's legs. If it really came back to him, it would be a cross-regional issue. The local police wouldn't be able to handle that. At that moment, the homeroom teacher, Mr. Wu, clapped his hands and shouted, Class 2, gather up, grab your admission tickets, and enter the exam venue. Subai dusted off his pants and completely ignored the red-faced Zhao Haotian, following the crowd into the exam hall. The entire venue was divided into 4 large areas: mountains, desert, snowfield, and grassland. Students would randomly draw lots to determine their areas. Subai drew the snowfield. The others entering the snowfield with him all looked dejected, complaining about their bad luck. Oh no, the snowfield. My luck is terrible. Me too. The snowfield is slippery. And my unit is the Mantis Warriors, who can't stand the cold. You're a Mantis Warrior? Hee hee. Then you'd better pray not to run into me. My unit is Skeleton Warriors, perfectly camouflaged in the snow. A group of 10 was arranged in a row of seats. The supervising teacher said, in a moment, put on your V-gear. You 10 will be placed together on a map for a melee battle. Whoever is the last one standing will pass the exam. The overall score will be based on the time taken to win the battle, the number of opponents killed, and their ranks. Students with higher overall rankings will be given priority for admission to the best schools. After the invigilator's explanation, Each of the 10 participants received a set of V-gear. This device resembles VR goggles, but allows for virtual combat. The most impressive feature is that defeating enemies inside can grant experience to the real-world participants. Of course, if soldiers are lost in the virtual environment, it will also affect their energy levels in reality. The advantage is that upgrading by wearing the goggles poses no life-threatening risks. The downside, however, is that the cost of upgrading with these goggles is prohibitively expensive for an average household. Chapter 15. Sorry, I'm not saying your troops are useless. It's just that everyone here is. Neuron connections in progress. Connection complete. Entering battlefield. Exam officially starts. When Subai opened his eyes, he found himself standing in a snowy area, roughly several acres in size. All around him was the ocean, with only 3 small paths leading to 3 separate areas in the distance. Beyond that, visibility was limited. His all-black attire seemed to represent the color of his legion. At that moment, a line of purple text appeared before him. Little Purple. Brothers, the competition begins. I won't engage. Feel free to do as you wish. Little Red. I'm targeting Little Blue. Little Yellow next to me. Don't stab me in the back. Little Green. Little Orange. Let us form an alliance and take out the others before deciding who's the best. Little Orange. Brother, you're not planning to betray me, are you? Each participant represented a different colored army and was sending messages on the public screen. Both schemes and strategies were openly displayed. Subai thought for a moment. No wonder they could chat on the public screen. It turned out that the school's exam encouraged alliances or backstabbing among participants. This not only trained troop cooperation in combat, but also strengthened one's tactics. After all, in warfare, deception is key. As long as one can win, any strategy can be used in this fair examination. Subai summoned his troops, calling forth exactly 20 soldiers. His plan was to feign weakness, inviting attacks from the 2 adjacent areas. By positioning himself as the defender, he would gain an advantage and avoid being attacked from both sides if one of his neighbors decided to strike. Before long, this tactic proved effective. The left side, represented by the orange-yellow faction, was the first to launch an attack. With a loud howl, a pack of bloodthirsty werewolves, all covered in black fur, charged toward him. Among the werewolves, there was a figure, but it was difficult to make out their appearance. It was likely another student participating in the same group exam. After entering the exam, the face was blurred, and the whole body was dressed in orange-yellow clothing. This was the commander of the bloodthirsty werewolves. Both sides could not speak and could only type their messages on the public screen. The orange-yellow one said, I didn't expect my neighbor to be such a weak human. I'll take you down first to score some points. Sorry, brother. Before Subai could respond, the opponent had already issued a command for a full-scale attack. Dozens of bloodthirsty werewolves pounced on Subai's mobilized soldiers. These werewolves had sharp claws and teeth, covered in black fur. Drool dripped from their mouths, and their eyes were blood red, exuding a fierce light. This was not the worst part. The most important thing was that the orange-yellow one had significantly increased the levels of his werewolves, all of which were level 8. Normally, they would crush Subai's level 1 mobilized soldiers. However, Subai showed no fear at all. He simply made a gesture to fire. A row of mobilized soldiers simultaneously raised their AK-47s and opened fire at these bloodthirsty werewolves. Bang, bang, bang. A barrage of bullets exploded, shattering the heads of the opponents. Although these bloodthirsty werewolves were level 8, they were still turned to pieces. The orange-yellow one was taken aback. He initially wanted to bully the weakest human soldier, but the opponent's long-range attack was so impressive, he was ready to flee. The orange-yellow one said, Brother Black, let us not fight anymore. Let us go back and recuperate. Defend our home, and talk again when the situation is clearer. But just after taking 2 steps, he was knocked down to the ground by a skeleton warrior led by the green one on his right. He was forced to exit the exam in frustration. The green one said, Sorry, I took your kill, but I'll take you away now. Come back to take the exam next year, classmate. The green one brought out 50 skeleton knife and axe warriors. Although there were many monsters, their levels varied. The highest was level 10, while the lowest was only level 3. At this moment, Subai summoned 10 more soldiers from his chest. He now had 30 mobilized soldiers. He arranged them into 2 rows, front and back, staggered in height. The front row fired until they finished their magazines, while the back row continued to fire. The 2 sides alternated, maintaining fire suppression. Although these skeletons were a bit fragile, they were all made of bones, making them a bit tricky to hit. However, after Subai's 2 rounds of alternating attacks, the skeleton tactics of the green one quickly turned into experience, and many of Subai's mobilized soldiers leveled up to private. A few even advanced to sergeant. This made him overjoyed. It was pure experience gain. Less than 20 minutes into the competition, his left neighbor was taken away. It's that young man again? In the exam monitoring room, Professor Wu, a retired teacher from the prestigious academy of the capital, was invited to assist in supervising the exam. He watched the monitoring screen. Subai had already organized the team and was advancing towards the center. In the middle, Xiao Cheng was in a very difficult position, continuously under attack from neighbors on both sides. He was struggling to hold on. At this moment, Su Bai charged in from the rear. In less than 2 minutes, Xiao Cheng was eliminated. Professor Wu wiped his glasses. This kid, when I last saw him, could already solo dungeons. Now, in just 20 minutes, he had taken out the neighbors on both sides without using any strategies like the Sun Lu alliance. He has become stronger. Old Wu, are you feeling unwell? What are you daydreaming about? A middle-aged man brought 2 cups of tea and placed them on Professor Wu's desk. Professor Wu snapped back to reality. He pointed at Su Bai, who was arranging formations in the center, and said, Director Kai, look at this kid. He managed to take out the neighbors on both sides with such weak units in just 20 minutes. And those 2 opponents are not weak either. They shouldn't be underestimated. The middle-aged man was Kai Peiyuan, the academic director of a prestigious institution in the area. He was responsible for recruitment in the Handong region this time. It was because his school was coming back to recruit students that Professor Wu had taken on the role of an invigilator. After all, they were from the same school. Kai Peiyuan looked at the monitor in the middle. Su Bai had set up his formation. Taking out the neighbors in 20 minutes was indeed impressive. However, he might not be very good at military strategy. You see, although he has occupied this area and can directly attack the other 5, it also poses a direct threat to those 5. Old Wu, look, the 5 factions currently fighting are also pulling back. After all, no one wants to be ambushed from behind while entangled in mutual conflict. Just as Kai Peiyuan finished speaking, lines of text appeared on the display screen. Xiao Zi, brothers, let us stop fighting for now. If we keep entangling, we'll just get ambushed by Xiao He. Xiao Huang, let us cease fire. Xiao He has taken the Central Plains, which is a threat to each of us. Xiao Cheng, how about this? Each of us contributes 30 of our forces to eliminate the one in the center, and then we can decide the winner afterward. Xiao Hong, agreed. Everyone stop fighting for now. The little black in the center is like a thorn in our side. If each of us sends out 10 units, we can unite to eliminate Xiao He. Xiao Lan, I agree. Let us take out Xiao He first, then we can compete fairly. Old Wu, look how quickly they have united. I've seen students who like to occupy the center in other places before, and they were always the first to be eliminated. These students have one thing in common. They don't understand the importance of biding their time. Professor Wu adjusted his glasses and remained silent. At that moment, Su Bai said on the public screen, Xiao Zi, you have plenty of tricks up your sleeve, but your strength is too weak. These schemes can't save your inferior troops. Xiao Zi replied, what do you mean? Are you saying my Mantis warriors are inferior troops? Su Bai responded, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying your troops are inferior. I'm saying everyone present here has inferior troops. Chapter 16. Are you sure human troops will be this strong? The proctor was shocked. This statement of everyone here has inferior troops immediately enraged the remaining 5 teams. They had been somewhat hesitant before, but now they were determined to each send out 10 soldiers to eliminate Su Bai. Kai Peiyuan shook his head. This young man spoke recklessly, and now he had drawn the ire of the crowd. It was indeed a pity for him to be eliminated. Professor Wu said, this kid is named Su Bai, and I know him. Look at how he dares to manipulate the weakest human troops to challenge this group. He must either have courage or strategy. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to clear the level 6 team dungeon solo. If he had awakened a higher tier troop, at least an orc level, I believe he could withstand the combined attack of these 5 teams. After reaching an agreement, the 5 teams each sent out 10 soldiers to attack Su Bai, who occupied the central area. 50 soldiers of various races occupied the 5 main routes. Xiao Lan sent out 10 centaur archers, who were ready with their longbows for an attack. Xiao Hong dispatched 10 cat warriors armed with 9-toothed rakes, who dug up the ground as they walked, creating large pits for defense. The remaining Xiao Cheng and Xiao Huang also deployed similar half-beast warriors. Xiao Zi, who had been the first to get angry, sent out 20 of his mantis warriors, seemingly seeking revenge for the earlier insult. The group of monsters launched a simultaneous attack, with the strong half-beast warriors and agile mantis warriors charging from the left, middle, and right towards Su Bai's position. At this point, even if Su Bai wanted to escape, it would probably be too late. Classmate, you're done for. Learn your lesson this time, and don't be so arrogant next time. Haha. But Su Bai showed no signs of panic. He lifted his head and looked at the group of enemies before him, a faint smile appearing on his face. He prepared the incendiary bottles and threw them. After receiving the order, all the mobilized soldiers threw their incendiary bottles. A wall of fire quickly ignited. The half-beast warriors and mantis warriors, who had advanced less than a few dozen meters, were suddenly engulfed by the flames. The fire spread to both the half-beast warriors and the mantis warriors, causing them to writhe in pain. In that instant, their health points began to plummet rapidly. Especially the agile mantis warriors, whose health was already low, suffered heavy losses, with 7 or 8 of them burned to death instantly. The slightly slower half-orcs were shot to pieces by the mobilized troops' firearms. Seeing the heavy casualties, Xiao Zi began to scold in the public chat. Xiaolon, Xiaohong, why aren't you two joining in? Hurry and let your centaur archers provide cover. And your catapult, stop building defensive walls. If we don't attack together, we're going to be defeated. But at that moment, Xiao Zi left the battlefield. It turned out that Xiaolon and Xiaohong, who commanded the centaur archers, saw that Xiao Zi had deployed the most soldiers and that their home defenses were weak, so they took him down directly, engaging in a turf war among themselves. The other two half-orc families, seeing the unfavorable situation, quickly called back the remaining half-orcs with low health to defend their homes. Unfortunately, they didn't make it in time and were also turned into mere points by the mobilized troops. The situation turned around too quickly. Even Professor Wu couldn't react in time. The five alliances, seeing the situation was not right, began to fight among themselves. He couldn't help but shake his head. What a bunch of disorganized individuals. With the situation reversed, Su Bai pushed back the five-person alliance, but did not continue to defend in place. Instead, he led the main force directly towards Xiao Cheng and Xiao Huang's half-orc troops. At this point, several mobilized troops had reached maximum experience from continuous leveling up. With the sound of trumpets signaling upgrades, Su Bai's mobilized troops advanced to the rank of Sergeant Major. After reaching this level, their health points increased significantly. Mobilized Troop 001, Strength 1010, Agility 105, Defense 64, Health 100,100, Skills, Molotov Cocktail, Bayonet, health points increased to 200. This was already comparable to level 7 monsters in some dungeons. Damage further increased, though they lacked the skills that came with leveling up. A slight boost in strength meant a slight increase in damage. Coupled with the enhancement from the firearms, a single shot would inflict at least 70 points of damage. This damage was simply formidable. Bullets struck the half-orcs, causing their health to drop dramatically. The half-orcs, with only 15 points of defense, could not withstand the gunfire at all. One by one, these half-orcs were pierced by bullets and fell down, while Su Bai's mobilized troops continued to advance. Xiao Huang, this is impossible. My half-orc troops. Xiao Cheng, together we have over 60 powerful half-orcs. How can we not withstand this for even 10 minutes? Xiao Huang, Xiaolon, where are your centaur archers? Why aren't they coming to help? You'll be next to be wiped out. As the two complained, they were let out of the exam by Su Bai. Professor Wu and Kai Yuanpei gasped in shock. They exchanged glances, and after a long moment, their eyes silently parted. Damn it, are you sure these are human troops? Even if human troops have awakened some skills, a bit of madness can be understood. However, these troops are using ranged basic attacks, and their damage is astonishingly high. The powerful and highly defensive half-orcs are being cut down like vegetables under their hands. Professor Wu, are you sure these soldiers are human? Or are they some other creatures that look like humans? Kai Yuanpei was somewhat hesitant to confirm that Su Bai's mobilized troops were human. I have personally seen this group of soldiers. I can guarantee they are 100 human. They are still the kind of weak humans. Professor Wu adjusted his glasses and said. Kai Yuanpei immediately ran out to the adjacent office to look for Su Bai's records. He quickly found them. Su Bai, Awakened Talent, White, Rating, Civilian Level. Recommendation. It is suggested that the student transfer to a vocational technical school after this semester to learn a skill to avoid difficulties finding a job after graduation. Comment. Class Teacher, Teacher Wu. Kai Yuanpei, holding the document with trembling hands, walked back to the monitoring room. He kept mumbling, how is this possible, a white-rated awakening? This is simply unscientific. There must be some mistake. To easily deal with more powerful half-orcs, this awakened talent should at least be purple. No. It could even be gold. According to the rating, it should at least be S level or even SS. Professor Wu had taught countless students throughout his life. Leading class after class, he had seen gifted individuals and those who grew through hard work. However, he had never seen soldiers with trash talents awakened to reach SS level. This was simply unheard of. Chapter 17. A small piece of land for everyone. Sun Lu Alliance. Sorry. I will break it with force. Eliminate Xiao Huang and Xiao Cheng. Su Bai gathered the mobilized troops in his hands. Out of 50, 1 was dead, and 5 had lost 20 health points. Compared to the casualties, 8 of the initial mobilized troops that had followed him had already been promoted to sergeant with 3 stripes. In Red Alert, they were considered elite level. The combat power and health of these soldiers were far above the initial low-level troops. Indeed, the experience gained from battling classmates' troops was rapidly increasing. Even he himself had now reached level 9. Character level, LV9, Strength, 121, Agility, 171, Defense, 121, Health, 9510. Although the attributes were still poor, as his level increased, the number of soldiers he could control would also grow. According to the level cap, in this world, when awakened soldiers level up, they can accumulate energy to summon 10 soldiers for each level gained. The higher the level, the more soldiers can be summoned. Currently, one can summon a maximum of 90 soldiers. After counting, Su Bai looked at the two remaining candidates in the distance, Xiao Hong and Xiao Lan. One of them summoned a type of soldier known as a nail cat, while the other summoned a centaur archer. The two quickly combined their forces to confront Su Bai together. In the distance, the nail cats were flipping through the snow, mixing it with dirt to create walls about 1.5 meters high. Meanwhile, the centaur archers used these walls as cover for defensive counterattacks. The two sides were surprisingly coordinating their efforts. Su Bai attempted to send his summoned soldiers to charge, but found the results lacking. The accuracy of the centaur archers was exceptionally high. In this confined space where each person had only a small area to operate, Su Bai's soldiers couldn't leverage the long-range advantage of their weapons effectively. Both sides exchanged fire, resulting in mutual casualties. Su Bai was astonished at how strong the centaur archers were. He decided to use the medal awarded to him by Director Qi to scan the attributes of the enemy soldiers. Centaur Archer, Strength, 23, Agility, 30, Defense, 2, Health, 260. Outside the monitoring screen, Teacher Wu remarked, "These two students have combined their forces and quickly established a defensive line. Both sides are engaging in ranged attacks, and this kid Su Bai is at a disadvantage. It seems quite difficult for him to win this round. However, if he can take down this hedgehog-like combination, he will surely rank high on the exam leaderboard." Director Kai Peiyuan agreed with Professor Wu's assessment. If this young man can overcome this hurdle, he will undoubtedly be a standout among this year's cohort in the province, a true gem. Our prestigious institution must cultivate such talent. Their comments drew the attention of other supervising teachers, curious about what kind of student could attract such high praise from top university experts. The term Soldier King refers to someone who is brave in battle, has high attack power, and can handle tough situations, essentially the best among soldiers. It's important to note that admission to a good university depends on the students' levels, which are awarded by the institution itself. The lowest rank is private, followed by corporal, sergeant, and so on. The title of Soldier King represents the highest potential level that can be achieved in the future. What kind of extraordinary student could this be? Forget it. Let's not chat anymore. Su Bai should first take out this stronghold. After all, the combination of Xiao Hong and Xiao Lan's archers and siege units is indeed difficult to handle. Generally, for such a stronghold assault, at least 5 to 10 times the troops are needed for a frontal attack. But Su Bai only has fewer than 50 soldiers. The opponent has 40 archers and a combination of 35 siege units. How is he going to break the deadlock? In the surveillance footage, Su Bai sneered and called out in the public chat, "Staying here just affects our exam scores." Xiao Hong replied, "So what? It's better than losing our soldiers to you." Xiao Lan added, "This is called the Sun Lu Alliance, resisting the Chao forces together. You're like Chao Chao, strong as you are, we'll just play defense. What can you do?" Su Bai, "If you don't want to come out, I don't want to waste time either. Get ready, I'm going to launch a quick attack now." Without waiting for the two to continue chatting, Su Bai charged forward. Xiao Hong, "Bro, you're surrendering, right? The commander is rushing in to die, and the exam will be over. Thanks for the sacrifice." Xiao Lan, "Oh, if you had said earlier that you wanted to surrender, we could have at least given you 5 soldiers to help you score more before you give up. No need to talk so tough." Su Bai's decision to lead the charge stunned both Professor Wu and Director Kai. Has this kid gone mad? A commander personally entering the battlefield? Does he think this is like ancient generals dueling? It's simply ludicrous. As Su Bai dashed forward, he dodged the incoming arrows. Unfortunately, his agility attribute was low. Out of 10 arrows shot, he had already been hit by 8. Xiao Hong, "Bro, you're almost a porcupine now. How are you still alive?" With over 20 arrows in him, Su Bai quickly reached the first defensive earthen wall. He swung his fist and smashed it down. This punch, infused with 50 damage from his chest cannon, created a gap in the wall. Su Bai jumped in and pulled out an arrow from his body, using the tip to kill a siege unit charging at him. Behind him, several centaur archers shot arrows again. But this time, they were too close, and the arrows missed. Instead, Su Bai stepped forward and smashed a centaur's leg with his fist, causing the archer to fall to the ground. At that moment, not only were Xiao Hong and Xiao Lan shocked, but also Professor Wu and Director Kai were left speechless. How can a commander endure so much damage like this and still have such strong output? The situation on the battlefield rapidly changed. Su Bai single-handedly broke into the enemy formation, throwing their defensive arrangement into chaos. The mobilized troops outside received the signal and charged in, mercilessly unleashing the flames from their weapons upon any living being that moved. In less than 5 minutes, all of Xiao Hong and Xiao Lan's soldiers were completely slaughtered. They left the examination room with a sense of satisfaction. At the same time, Su Bai let out a sigh of relief. If it weren't for his ability to construct buildings from a certain game that increased his health to withstand damage, the chaotic situation just now could have dragged on for hours without a clear winner. Exam finished, victory in battle. The synthesized voice from the computer echoed, and Su Bai took off his V-equipment and stood up from his seat in the examination room. Chapter 18. The Invigilator suspects Su Bai of cheating. But Subai proves himself with his strength. Rubbing his eyes, he looked around and noticed that the classmates who had previously sat next to him were already gone. It seemed that these people had been taken away by him. In the earlier melee of 10 people, he had at least eliminated 7 of them. That should count as excellent results, right? After all, considering how he had withstood several volleys from centaur archers with his own body. Such strength was rare, even in the entire academy. At this moment, Teacher Wu approached with a somewhat complicated expression, carefully scrutinizing Subai several times before finally speaking. Subai, was the strength you displayed just now really your own? Teacher Wu seemed uncertain. Subai nodded yes. Teacher Wu, that was indeed my own strength. The Invigilator, Director Kai, has called for you. Teacher Wu was worried. She felt a mix of excitement and turbulence about Subai's demonstrated power and results. However, the thought of Director Kai summoning Subai made her uneasy. She feared hearing the news that Subai had used some means to cheat. Subai noticed Teacher Wu's expression and smiled reassuringly. Don't worry, Teacher Wu. These are all genuine results I've achieved, with no inflated numbers. Subai was very grateful to Teacher Wu. If it weren't for her sending him the Awakening Stone while he was in confinement, he wouldn't have achieved today's results. Teacher Wu escorted Subai to the office door. Director Kai welcomed him in, and Subai entered, closing the door behind him. Are you Subai? The other party scrutinized Subai repeatedly, their eyes sharp as knives, making Subai feel somewhat uncomfortable. At that moment, a familiar voice beside him said with a smile, Subai, we meet again. Professor Wu, you're also an Invigilator? Subai recognized that it was the professor who had previously caused a mix-up while trying to rescue him. That's right, don't be nervous. We just want to have a chat. Subsequently, Director Kai pointed out the doubts regarding Subai's ability to withstand the attacks of archers in the surveillance footage. Subai, although you claim to have truly fought, we still need to check whether the examination system has been compromised. Therefore, your exam results are currently under suspicion. And we'll give you a warning. This greatly exceeded Subai's expectations. Could it be wrong to act quickly? Subai said, Director Kai, why not do this? There's a training ground here. You can try it yourself to see the outcome. Director Kai shot a glare at Subai, thinking to himself, this young one is fearless, boasting quite a lot. Professor Wu quickly intervened. Subai, we Haven T accused you of cheating outright. There's no need for such arrogance. Subai felt somewhat displeased. Is being humble a trait of youth? This only made Director Kai regard him with newfound respect. Alright, a young person with ambition. How about this? I'll send out a soldier. If you can defeat him, you can enter any prestigious academy here. And I want to consider any exam results. It's a deal. Both sides arrived at the training ground. At this moment, students were taking exams. And those who finished early like Subai were rare. There were no idle spectators in the training ground. Director Kai shouted, and a golden light burst forth from his chest. A 3-meter-tall Naga royal guard, covered in blue-gray scales like an alligator, wielding a heavy mountain-splitting sword, appeared before Subai. This guard was extremely muscular, with thick alligator skin. The mountain-splitting sword alone weighed over 300 pounds. Just this one soldier made Subai break out in a cold sweat. Is this the ordinary soldier of the high-ranking academy? This strength is too formidable. He opened the metal detector, but the opponent's level was too high to display. Come on, feel free to attack. I won't let you get hurt, Director Kai said. After all, the opponent was a student, and he certainly wouldn't injure him. He just wanted to gauge Subai's true strength. Hearing this, Subai didn't hold back. He charged forward and threw a punch at the Naga Royal Guard's muscular body. The thick alligator skin absorbed tons of damage. And that punch only forced the Naga Royal Guard to take a few steps back. Ordinary people wouldn't notice. But Kai Yuanpei knew that his Naga Royal Guard was amphibious, with a strength of 80 points, a defense of 30 points, and a health value of 1,100 points. The fact that Subai's punch could push back his Naga Royal Guard already astonished him. This kid indeed has hidden depths. However, Subai felt he had lost face. He couldn't even shake a regular soldier. If the teacher forcibly judged him to be cheating, that wouldn't be worth it. So he paused to stretch his body. At the same time, he called upon the red alert system in his mind. He clicked to build a watchtower cannon. Under construction, building completed, a piece of land was found to place the watchtower cannon. Now, Subai's damage has reached 100 points. He continued to throw a punch. With this punch, the Naga Royal Guard's skin cracked, and purple blood seeped out. However, the Naga Royal Guard did not fall. At this moment, Kai Peiyuan was already shocked. He finally believed in Subai's strength. That punch just now dealt at least 70 or 80 points of damage. Otherwise, it wouldn't have broken through the defense. Nevertheless, Subai was still not satisfied. He continued to click to build another watchtower cannon. He placed down another one. Another punch. This time, bones cracked and stones shattered. At this moment, the Naga Royal Guard finally staggered and collapsed to the ground, twitching, blood flowing from its wounds. After a while, it managed to stand up again. Only then did Subai stop, satisfied. Director Kai, now I've taken him down. Do you believe in my strength now? At this point, Director Kai was speechless. The power of that punch was heavier than the last, each hit landing solidly. Such a commander. He had only heard of a few in the entire university in the metropolis who possessed such formidable physical prowess. Today was truly a treasure found. He was overjoyed and quickly walked over. Subai, I believe in your strength. The prestigious academy in the metropolis welcomes you with open doors. No need for you to apply. We welcome you to join us. Professor Wu beside them also applauded, his eyes slightly moist. Another promising talent had emerged from Handong province. This was a rare genius. Subai scratched his head. Let's see the results first. Seeing Subai's hesitation, Director Kai smiled and said, Subai, don't worry. In the next couple of days, I will apply for a scholarship and subsidies from the school for you, ensuring it meets your requirements. Subai nodded. Currently, he didn't know if he could be first in the city. It was better to wait for the results first. He didn't want to enter a school in a muddle. What if there were better schools to choose from? Chapter 19. With such a thick health pool in the armed mining vehicle, shouldn't he take it out for a spin? Exiting the training ground, he saw a few students leaving the exam site looking disheveled. These were clearly the stepping stones defeated by other students. It seemed that it would take at least several more hours before the real exam was completely over and the results were tallied. He wondered whether to go home and wait for the exam results or find a park to lie down until the afternoon when the results would be announced. After thinking for a moment, Subai decided to save on transportation and find a park to lie down until the afternoon. Leaving the exam site, he arrived at a nearby central park. It was not the weekend, and there were hardly any people in the park, making it very quiet. This reminded him of the earlier exam when he attacked that stronghold, taking on the role of a human shield. Without a strong structure to share health points, he would have succumbed to the enemy's relentless barrage long ago and died multiple times. It seemed like it was time to build a heavy vehicle factory and produce some tanks. Currently, he had 2,900 on hand, just enough to create a heavy vehicle and also produce a Rhino tank. Using the Rhino tank as a shield would provide both defense and offense, far superior to those half-orcs as a meat shield. Its siege capability was also top-notch. Clicking to manufacture, the heavy vehicle was quickly ready. However, a problem arose. Due to the limited area of the Stone Sea, and the fact that he had constructed 2 watchtowers earlier, there was no space left to place it. He could sell the 2 watchtowers to free up some money for the heavy vehicle, but doing so would reduce his own damage by 100 points. While he hesitated, he noticed an armed mining vehicle operating in the Stone Sea. This bulky machine had just finished a load of ore and was leaving the mining site. In that instant, he had an idea. In the game, armed mining vehicles not only had high defense, but also comparable health to base vehicles. Many players used them to draw fire as a meat shield. If he could summon a mining vehicle, wouldn't that be even better than a Rhino tank? Plus, he wouldn't have to worry about space issues. He decided to cancel the heavy vehicle factory. Focusing his thoughts, he shouted, "Come forth." The next second, a beam of light emanated from his chest. A giant truck, the size of a large semi, appeared in the park's open space. The vehicle was completely covered in steel, with tank-like treads, resembling a tank. At the front, there was a metal mining device for plowing the ground, and a heavy machine gun mounted on top. It looked massive and powerful. The doors opened, and 2 drivers stepped out, saluting him. "We are fully armed, ready for the country's economy. Are we mining here?" they asked. "No, you can return to the vehicle for now." With this new machine serving as a shield, Subai, the commander, felt much more at ease. Just as he was about to retract the armed mining vehicle back into his chest, a pretty face suddenly peeked out from the side of the mining vehicle. She smiled gently, revealing 2 dimples. "Subai, what are you doing playing in the park?" Subai was somewhat surprised to see her. "Chi Tiantian, what are you doing here? Isn't the citywide exam today?" Chi Tiantian emerged from behind the vehicle, striding confidently towards him. "Do I even need to take the exam? You underestimate me too much." Sunlight poured down as the girl in a white dress stood there. Her face was beautiful and captivating, her skin fairer than snow, and her eyes seemed to speak, sparkling with intelligence. She wore a white shirt with a slightly open collar, revealing a glimpse of her fair neckline. On her lower half, she wore tight black jeans, her long, straight legs exposed to the sunlight, incredibly alluring. "What do you mean? You don't have to take the exam?" Subai was somewhat surprised. "Of course. Look at how casually I'm dressed. Do I look like I'm here to take an exam? I'm going to be directly admitted to the prestigious academy. Hee, I told my dad that once the results are out, I'll send you over. How about that?" Subai opened his mouth. "No way, you don't have to go that far just to thank me." In the past, without the red alert system, he would have definitely accepted this easy life. But now, although he wanted that easy life, he wanted to achieve it through hard work even more. So Subai smiled. "Do I need direct admission? I'll get you the top score in the province to show you our strength." Chi Tiantian blinked her eyes. "Really? Of course. Come on. It's lunchtime. Let us go grab some spicy hot pot." As he spoke, Subai intentionally or unintentionally placed his hand on Chi Tiantian's slender waist. He tilted his head and glanced down. The white shirt was quite translucent, revealing a hint of what was underneath. What are you looking at? Chi Tiantian noticed Su Bai's not-so-innocent gaze and shot him a light glare. Hee, the sun is just too bright and round today. I can't help but squint. Exam over. Victory achieved. Zhao Haoyan walked out of his exam room, looking at the sparse crowd of students in the hall. A sense of pride and confidence surged within him, causing the corners of his mouth to lift. He approached a teacher and politely asked, "Excuse me, has there been anyone similar to me in terms of group winners before?" "I can't say, but as the one managing the entrance, I've seen quite a few confident people, and you are the first." Hearing this, Zhao Haoyan felt a huge weight lift off his chest. "Steady. I won. With my strength, the top score in the province is definitely within reach. Perhaps even the top score nationwide. After all, I am a genius." He couldn't help but laugh, and his expression turned a bit arrogant. This burst of laughter caught the attention of some students who had not performed well in the exam. Is this guy laughing so wildly? Is he out of his mind? Don't you know? He is Zhao Haoyan from the 1st Academy of the Guard, the first man to awaken his heroic powers. He is incredibly impressive. Oh, so it's him. He definitely has the right to be arrogant. His laughter also attracted the attention of some teachers monitoring the exam data. What is wrong with this student? He has no discipline at all. Other students are still taking the exam. Hi, it's not just happiness. According to the teacher monitoring his live stream, he had 9 opponents in his team. This student used clever tactics and strategies. He successfully took down 4 opponents by himself, becoming the ultimate victor. It was truly a stroke of genius, especially with his hero, the Ogre Chief, who was both strong and resilient. So, with both strategy and strength, it's indeed something to be pleased about. Given his performance, he can easily choose any top university. Zhao Haoyan returned to his normal state and gave a hypocritical bow to those teachers who had just praised him. However, he scoffed inwardly. Are you shocked now? This group of bumpkins will only know what a thunderclap is when the exam results come out. Chapter 20. The beautiful campus flower keeps getting close to Su Bai, and Zhao Haoyan is filled with envy and jealousy, feeling sour. Zhao Haoyan lazily stretched and dusted off the rented gear he was wearing. For this exam, his parents spent a fortune renting this top-notch equipment. A pair of rings boosting strength by 6, a velvet robe enhancing defense by 18, and cloud-stepping boots adding agility by 8. Not to mention the powerful heart-protecting mirror that boosts vitality by 120. The daily rental fee for this equipment alone is 200,000. With his ogre army, who in the entire Handong could match him, even students 3 years his senior wouldn't stand a chance. Geniuses are naturally so graceful and carefree. Hubby, when are you coming out? Why aren't you waiting for me at the exam entrance? Wang Kiki, Su Bai's ex-girlfriend, rushed over. Ever since Wang Kiki found out she was HIV positive but chose to stay with this rich second-generation heir, she endured it. Every time, she took precautions and swallowed a bunch of blocking medications, holding her nose to get through it, just to gain some benefits from Zhao Haoyan's equipment. You're out too, Wang Kiki. How did you do? Probably not good. I was the second one eliminated, she said, blinking her big watery eyes with a pitiful look. I was eliminated in the first round, but in a few days, there will be a re-examination for the losers. Can I borrow your equipment for a day to get a good score? Please. As she spoke, Wang Kiki leaned in closer, making Zhao Haoyan feel a tickle and chuckle as he replied, if you behave well tonight, I might consider lending you for a few hours. Wang Kiki's face blossomed with a smile, ignoring the gazes of those around her, and directly embraced him. Hubby, you're so nice. This made the students around them feel a mix of envy and jealousy. Wow. Being rich means you can rent equipment. Being a rich second-generation heir is truly great. A beautiful girlfriend took the initiative to get closer, but unfortunately, her parents were just ordinary people without money, status, or power. This made her feel the pressure to strive hard for good grades. The sympathetic glances from classmates made Zhao Haoyan, who was used to being the center of attention, feel a mix of satisfaction and discomfort. Humph, the goddess you all dream about can only think of me here. Amidst these gazes, 2 figures caught Zhao Haoyan's eye. Completely unfazed. To his surprise, it was Su Bai. This guy was lucky not to be in the same group as him. Now that he finally showed up, was he not the first to be eliminated? He noticed another beautiful girl standing next to Su Bai, youthful and stunning. Her looks easily surpassed his girlfriend, Wang Kiki. Judging by her outfit, she didn't seem to be a student taking the exam. A surge of jealousy and anger welled up inside him. Su Bai, this useless guy? Not only had Su Xiaoya harboring feelings for him, but now there were other women getting close to him. Were these women blind? Su Bai, you seem to have good luck with women. I didn't expect such a pretty girl to be with a loser like you. Zhao Haoyan blocked the two, mocking Su Bai with a derisive tone. He then turned to Chi Tiantian and politely introduced himself. Hello classmate, I'm Zhao Haoyan, the class monitor of the 3rd year. Class 2 at the 1st Guard Academy. Nice to meet you. Chi Tiantian smiled slightly. Hello, I'm Chi Tiantian. I just finished the exam, and I think I completed it in 2 hours and 23 minutes, probably ranking 1st in the school, or maybe even the province. Wow, you're amazing. Zhao Haoyan's pride was evident. But the next statement made his expression darken. Chi Tiantian said, hee hee, compared to Brother Bai, it seems I'm still a bit lacking. Zhao Haoyan gasped, staring at Su Bai. Su Bai, your grades in school have always been poor, and now you're out here deceiving people. Everyone knows you rank last in the entire school. Why are you lying to classmate Chi Tiantian? His voice was loud enough for the nearby students, who were about to disperse, to hear. Oh, it's Su Bai again. No wonder the school beauty, Su Xiaoya, is so close to him. Turns out this jerk deceives girls. Did you hear that? He just claimed to be faster than Zhao Haoyan in completing the exam. He really has some nerve. I can't stand guys who deceive women. I'm just too honest to do that. Su Bai smiled and said, Zhao, you're still so naive. Tiantian, let us go? With that, he playfully patted Tiantian and walked away without looking back, leaving Zhao Haoyan fuming. Damn it. He had money and was good looking. How come such stunning beauties never stick to themselves? For Su Bai, does someone like Zhao Haoyan have the level to show off with him? Chi Tiantian said, I'm going to find my dad. He's responsible for maintaining the safety and order of today's exam. With that, she jumped away like a little sprite. Just as Chi Tiantian left, Su Xiaoya patted Su Bai on the shoulder from behind. She then turned and hid in front of Su Bai. However, Su Bai turned around from the other side, and the two collided directly, causing Su Xiaoya to tumble into his arms. Really, you always manage to react in time. Su Xiaoya pouted, a bit dissatisfied. Su Bai reluctantly released Su Xiaoya from his embrace and smiled. When did you come out? I didn't even see you. You still have the face to say that. I looked for you several times when I came out and couldn't find you. How did you do on the exam? Su Xiaoya countered. It should be fine. I should be able to get into a good school, Su Bai replied. In that case, I think I did well too. If you get into any school, just let me know, and I'll apply to that one too. Okay. Before he could finish, Zhao Haoyan rushed over. Just finished tricking one person, and now he wants to trick another? Su Xiaoya, do you really believe Su Bai can get good grades? He's a slacker, and he loves to deceive people. Seeing Su Xiaoya running back into Su Bai's arms again made Zhao Haoyan furious. He looked menacing. Although he had already arranged for some local thugs to teach Su Bai a lesson, seeing him so happy only fueled his hatred further. Two women, both circling around him. Faced with the relentless pursuit, Su Bai decided not to keep a low profile anymore. Zhao Haoyan, you just said I was naive. But you really are naive if you think you can beat me. Zhao Haoyan laughed in anger. Huh, you, the bottom of the class, think your strength can rival mine? Everyone, let's listen to Su Bai. Shouldn't he take a break from school and stay in a mental hospital for a while? I happen to have a relative who's a doctor there. Just mention my name when you go. This remark drew uproarious laughter from the surrounding classmates. Just then, the announcement sounded. The results of the 65th college entrance examination are about to be announced. Please come to the central hall to check your scores. In the distance, the sound of the announcement echoed through the central hall. The group that had just mocked Su Bai dispersed in a hurry, all rushing toward the central hall where a massive display screen was set up. Due to the large number of students, many armed police officers maintaining safety here began to organize discipline to prevent safety incidents like stampedes on the second floor around the square. Director Chi of the Provincial Public Security Department was personally overseeing the situation, watching the students below. This year's students were stronger than in previous years. Chi Tiantian nestled behind her father, pointing to a corner of the square, and said, Look, that's Su Bai. I know, I'm aware of his grades. Stop bothering me here and hurry outside. Director Chi scolded his daughter. Behind him, Director Kai approached and nodded to Director Chi. Director Chi, please announce the results. He pressed the computer's power button. The scores began to display on the large screen in the square, showing only the top 100 students' results. The students present dared not breathe a word, watching the names scroll up from the 100th position. Rows of names and total credits were displayed. Zhao Haoyan, holding Wang Kiki, kept grabbing her hand anxiously. Wang Kiki was in pain but dared not cry out. There was no way around it. The title of first in the province was about to be his. Third place, Zhao Haoyan, points earned, 230, exam duration, 2 hours 23 minutes. What? How is this possible? I am a prodigy. I even rented top-notch equipment. How could I be ranked third? Thinking of this, he tightened his grip. Wang Kiki felt like her hand was going numb from the pain but couldn't complain. What was Zhao Haoyan dissatisfied with? Third in the province, what more could he want? Zhao Haoyan swallowed hard. He had to settle for third place. What kind of monsters were the top two? Second place, Su Xiaoya, points earned, 255. Exam duration, 1 hour 53 minutes. Su Xiaoya. Zhao Haoyan gritted his teeth. That annoying girl. She awakened a golden level talent. As a flying dragon warrior, she had an absolute advantage in this exam competition held in a small area. Surrounded by the sea, the terrain was no problem for her at all. She had lucked out and surpassed him. Zhao Haoyan felt unjust. But then, the information that made him collapse appeared. First place, Su Bai, points earned, 389. Completion time. 52 minutes, Subai? How could it be him? It shouldn't be. There must be some mistake. How could someone with such poor overall strength like Subai become the top scorer? At that moment, it felt like he had been struck by lightning. His head was spinning. More importantly, all the voices that had previously praised him had vanished, and instead, the admiration was directed towards Subai. I can't believe it. I really can't believe that Subai, who was always at the bottom, actually became the top scorer in the province. Yes, it's so strange. He usually doesn't study well, and I've heard that his awakened troops are not impressive at all. How could he possibly be number one? Hey, you don't know, do you? Haven't you seen Su Xiaoya sticking to Subai like a little follower every day? It shows that this guy has real skills, and even the second best, Su Xiaoya, can see that. That makes sense. What you said makes sense. No wonder he always pretends to be weak. It turns out that Subai likes to keep a low profile. Right, I really underestimated him. On the contrary, that class monitor from class 3 to 2 always likes to show off, and yet he got outperformed by the worst student, Subai. Yes, this guy relies on being a rich second generation with good talent, acting arrogantly at school. Just look at that proud face he had when he walked out of the exam room. I can't stand it. TSK, TSK, TSK. Look at his face. Changing colors like a traffic light. His expression is more complicated than anyone else's. Ha ha ha. Zhao Haoyan lowered his head and pushed through the crowd to the front of the big screen. Suddenly, he spread his arms and shouted, cheating. Subai definitely cheated. A bottom student. How could he possibly score first in the province? This is definitely a conspiracy. Cheating. He's cheating. Su Xiaoya frowned when she saw Zhao Haoyan slandering Subai. Zhao Haoyan, how can you say that about Subai? If you're not satisfied with the results, you can compete with me. If you can beat me, then talk about whether Subai cheated. Zhao Haoyan knew he couldn't compete with the suddenly emerged Su Xiaoya. Her troops could fly, while his ogres could only throw stones on the ground. Her words nearly choked him. Subai stood off to the side with a smug smile, as if provoking him, saying, heh, with your kind of skills, you want to challenge me? I don't even need to lift a finger. My girl can take you down. Zhao Haoyan pointed at Su Xiaoya. This is none of your business. Subai, are you a man? If you're a man, come up here. Let's have a one-on-one. Just as he spoke, purple light flashed in Zhao Haoyan's chest. 23-meter-tall ogres appeared before all the students. These monsters had tough skin, were large and hefty, with 2 heads growing on their necks. Each head had only 1 eye, but 2 fangs protruded from their mouths. The monsters wielded spiked clubs and let out a loud roar at the students, causing many to step back in fright. Some students even fell to the ground. Subai frowned. Has Zhao Haoyan gone mad? How dare he release his troops here and intimidate the students? He stepped forward, ready to summon his own troops to teach this guy a lesson. Just then, several figures rushed forward. 8 armed police officers rushed to the front, each releasing their respective summoned creatures to firmly control the ogre that was threatening Zhao Haoyan. Director Qi came down from the 2nd floor. Zhao Haoyan, you rank 3rd. You should be happy. Why are you causing such a ruckus here? Is this a place to unleash summoned creatures? Director Qi's tone was stern, carrying an air of authority. In an instant, Zhao Haoyan shrank back, his legs weakened, and he involuntarily knelt down. The ogres retreated back into Zhao Haoyan's stone sea. Uncle officers, I just have some objections about the exam results. The exam has been thoroughly checked, and there will be no oversight. Everyone is watching you. Don't you feel embarrassed acting like this? Director Qi scolded him again. Zhao Haoyan lowered his head like a student who forgot to bring his backpack, afraid to speak. However, Director Qi didn't continue to reprimand him. It was common for a few students to be upset and shout every year after poor exam results. Director Qi chose not to pursue responsibility further, and Zhao Haoyan, understanding the situation, quietly slipped away. Chapter 22. 2 prestigious schools fought fiercely over Subai. As the excitement dispersed, Su Xiaoya said goodbye to Subai, as he needed to go back and tell his parents about his exam results. Other students also began to leave. However, Director Qi did not leave. Instead, he patted Subai on the shoulder. Young man, you did not disappoint me. You're the top scorer. Let me fill this out for you. Before Subai could respond, Director Qi took out an A4 paper and handed it over. Subai took a look and was surprised to find it was an admission application form for the capital's Guardian Academy. Fill it out, and once you're done, I'll stamp it for you. Just report back after the summer break. The capital's Guardian Academy. It was the highest level institution in the entire country, ranking among the top 10 globally and first nationally. It was the most desired school for all students. Covering 5,000 acres, the campus not only had classrooms, dormitories, and training fields, but also several large-scale dungeons, 2 mountains, and a river. Truly impressive. It was said that even the cafeteria staff could serve meals like seasoned soldiers. Subai was about to sign when a loud voice called out from behind. Subai, please wait a moment. Turning around, he saw Professor Wu and Director Kai rushing over. Director Kai said, Director Qi, as the head of the public security department, recruiting students shouldn't be your job. Moreover, I discussed with Su Bai yesterday, and he intends to enroll in our Shanghai Guardian Academy. Isn't that right, Su Bai? Su Bai said, indeed. I wanted to apply to a school in our city yesterday, but the schools in the capital have a higher ranking in various aspects than those in our city. Director Chi smiled broadly. Did you hear that, old Kai? Good students choose their schools. There's no such thing as first come, first served. Students have their own judgment. And I have no inducement or coercion. Upon hearing this, Director Kai felt unhappy. This police chief was actually competing with him for talent. He wasn't even from the education system. It was simply meddling in affairs that didn't concern him. However, outstanding talents like Su Bai would definitely choose better schools. Director Kai said, Su Bai, we have already secured a scholarship of 5 million for you. All your accommodation expenses at the school will be waived. 5 million is not a small amount. Converted into gold coins, that's 500 coins. Although my mining vehicle can generate 500 resources a day, that money can only circulate within my body and cannot increase my real-world income. This large sum is indeed tempting. Director Chi frowned. He had tasks to complete. The higher-ups had arranged for students from this province to enter the capital for further studies. Now there was a promising candidate, and someone from this city actually wanted to take him away. Old Kai, what good is money alone? The most important thing is the quality of education and future prospects after graduation. The academy in the capital has opportunities to join the elite guard after graduation. Protecting the capital is a kind of honor that schools in this city cannot compare to. That was indeed true. Protecting the capital was a tremendous honor. If someone reached that level of employment, the village chief back home would bring all the villagers to pay respects at your ancestral grave. Smoke would rise from the grave. Hey, Director Chi, you say protecting the capital is a great honor, but our city's elite academy also allows graduates to join the Navy and guard the coastal borders. Isn't that an honor as well? Su Bai, how will you choose? Both are good schools. Our city's elite academy offers a scholarship of 5 million, which is like winning the lottery. But the honor of graduating from the academy in the capital is even higher. For a moment, Su Bai found it difficult to make a decision. Instead, Director Kai bluntly said, since Su Bai can't make a decision, our elite academy also wants to recruit him. What do you suggest? He looked at Director Chi. When it comes to education, this isn't the political arena. The title of a director can't suppress everything. Old Kai, I have a mission. You can't just switch students, making it difficult for me. Professor Wu chuckled. You two are quite amusing. I remember when I was young. I was also in charge of admissions, and there was a conflict with another school over a promising candidate. Finally, it became simple. When it comes to strength, both sides can easily see who is stronger. In the Dragon Country, soldiers with awakened spirits may uphold virtues like kindness and humility, but very few are cowardly or timid in battle. It can be said that everyone respects martial prowess. After listening to Professor Wu, the two expressed their agreement. Director Chi said, then let our strength do the talking. The training ground is right behind us, which is quite convenient. Director Kai clasped his hands in greeting. Director Chi was also straightforward and readily agreed. Both sides entered the training ground. Director Kai took his stance. With over 40 elite Naga royal guards standing in front of him, amphibious, tough-skinned, strong as oxen, Director Kai's troops were indeed formidable. Director Chi praised him, feeling as if all his power had been unleashed. A gust of wind rushed throughout the arena. Come forth, bloodthirsty tiger. A roar echoed across the entire training ground. A blood-soaked, striped tiger over 3 meters tall stood before Director Chi. The tiger roared again, sending powerful sound waves across the arena. With sharp teeth and a muscular build, its limbs were strong, resembling a naturally fit warrior. Its fierce eyes surveyed the crowd, causing onlookers to fall to the ground. That imposing presence was overwhelming. It was simply too intense. Even Su Bai couldn't help but widen his eyes. Director Kai stood with his hands behind his back, undeterred by the tiger's roar. Director Chi was confident. Did he really think a single hero could defeat over 40 elite Naga guards? That seemed a bit arrogant. Director Chi smirked. Oh really? Back in my day, I single-handedly eliminated hundreds of fierce drug traffickers in Nanping Mountain using this very tiger. I feel that a hero alone should be more than enough to deal with your Naga forces. Instead, it seems that your miscellaneous troops are somewhat out of place here. This training ground doesn't have any water pits. If your Naga fighters can't find a place to hide, then they might lose face. On the stage, the duel between the two had left Su Bai speechless. The police system versus the education system. They were two completely unrelated factions. In order to secure their positions in the school, they were actually fighting each other. This made Su Bai feel a bit awkward. He wanted to stop the two on stage, but was even more eager to watch this exciting competition. After all, both sides were at the level of top fighters. Chapter 23. Fighting to End Conflict. The founding hero emerges. Military god Li Yunlong. Su Bai was shocked. On the training ground, the two had no intention of continuing to talk. The bloodthirsty tiger charged towards the Naga royal guards like a gust of wind. It suddenly unleashed a powerful gust of wind from its mouth, blinding the Naga royal guards. At the same time, the bloodthirsty tiger swept through the group of Naga royal guards with its sharp claws. Wherever it passed, the thick skin of several Naga royal guards was torn open, one cut after another. In no time, many of the Naga royal guards were bleeding profusely, their vitality drained significantly. Oh, as expected of the head of the public security department, his agility as a hero was indeed remarkable. Isn't that right? He moved freely among the Naga royal guards, as if in a realm untouched by others. The students below expressed their opinions one after another. However, Subai frowned slightly. It shouldn't be like this. He felt that Director Kai's Naga royal guards were not as simple as they seemed. Sure enough, it didn't take long before the group of Naga royal guards suddenly unleashed high-pressure water balls. This simultaneous barrage was aimed directly at the bloodthirsty tiger. The bloodthirsty tiger was an exceptionally nimble hero with extraordinary perception abilities. In this situation, it reacted almost instantaneously, dodging the attack. Dozens of water bombs mostly missed their target. The water bombs struck the ground, creating large craters. Many droplets splashed onto the clothing and hair of the observing students. Subai's hair got quite wet. However, one of the water bombs did hit the bloodthirsty tiger in the chest. The bloodthirsty tiger retreated. Director Chi raised an eyebrow. Bloodthirsty tiger, activate Tiger Fury. Follow the command. The bloodthirsty tiger laughed maniacally, its eyes turning red. A strange dark red aura emanated from its body. A surge of murderous intent was released from the bloodthirsty tiger. It charged once more towards the Naga royal guards. Meanwhile, Director Kai was not idle either. He commanded the Naga to form a phalanx to block the bloodthirsty tiger. The strong Naga royal guards raised their heavy greatswords, ready to determine the victor against the bloodthirsty tiger. Just as the two sides were about to clash, a tremendous explosion erupted. The entire training ground split in two. Stones and bricks from the ground were swept up like a storm, scattering debris in all directions. The bloodthirsty tiger and the Naga royal guards both retreated simultaneously, narrowly avoiding this powerful blow. A robust voice rang out. Damn it! You two are just playing around here with so many students watching. How embarrassing. Upon hearing this voice, Chi Tongwei and Kai Yuanpei were both startled. They quickly withdrew their heroes into their chests and rushed outside the training ground. Outside, they saw an elderly man in his 70s or 80s. His skin was dark, with gray hair and sharp eyes. Yet he naturally exuded a commanding presence. Beside the old man, a formidable Vajra statue glared at the audience. He held a magic staff, tall and imposing. General Yunlong, what brings you here? Why didn't you notify me in advance? I could have made some arrangements. General Yunlong, when are you coming back? Do you have time to come to our school and give some lectures to the students? Talk about your experiences fighting during the war back in the day. The two looked excitedly at the elder in front of them. Come on, you two, acting like children. You're both leaders, yet here you are, playfully sparring like kids. Even a dog would find it embarrassing. The two felt their faces flush and smiled awkwardly, saying, we were just having a friendly exchange, getting some exercise, and happened to discover a promising student. We were thinking about enrolling him in our school. Are you talking about that top student, Subai? Yes, that's right. All right, let me go ask him. You two are just messing around here. General Yunlong, I'll send him over. You don't need to come. The road isn't easy to navigate. Kai Yuanpei called out to Professor Wu, asking him to bring Subai over. Subai was utterly confused. Who exactly was this elder? The imposing figure beside him was like a giant cannon. The elder's expression was serious as he scrutinized Subai. You are Subai? Yes, that's me. To his surprise, the elder chuckled. I didn't expect you to be quite the talent. To be the top student among so many. You're a promising prospect. Tell me, which of these two schools do you want to attend? After witnessing the combat prowess of Director Chi and Director Kai, Subai had come to realize his own shortcomings. It wasn't just about rank. It was about the intensity of the different branches of the military. If he entered the Jingshi Academy as he was, he probably wouldn't progress very quickly among the nation's elite students. It would be better to attend a school in the Magic City. Although it wasn't as prestigious as the Jingshi school, at least it had a large student body of 5 million, which would allow him to strengthen his abilities. This was a classic case of preferring to be the head of a chicken rather than the tail of a phoenix. Once his strength improved, the distinction between good and bad schools would become irrelevant. So he voiced his thoughts. Grandpa, I think the Magic City Guard Academy suits me better. Kai Yuanpei felt a surge of joy upon hearing this. However, he only dared to show a slight smile, not wanting to be too overt. General Yunlong patted Subai on the shoulder. Did you hear that? The young lad is expressing his own opinion. Why do two grown men have to fuss over it like this? Director Chi and Kai Yuanpei quickly agreed. Only Subai remained unaware of the elder's true identity. Noticing the confusion on Subai's face, Kai Yuanpei introduced, this is General Li Yunlong, who led the independent regiment to fight against the enemy here in the Tsangyun Ridge area. He is now one of our founding heroes. In that instant, Su Bai felt as if struck by lightning. This elder was none other than General Li Yunlong. He had heard about this person since childhood. Back in the day, when the neighboring country invaded, the other side dispatched many local forces, causing chaos and suffering in the land. General Yunlong resolutely decided to join the resistance and formed a team to fight against the invaders. In the end, they successfully drove those invaders back to their homeland. As for him, he was a formidable figure, having slaughtered countless foes summoned forth. Even the invaders themselves could not keep track of how many they had lost. A military godlike figure now stood before Su Bai. Look, what is there to introduce? I, old Li, am just an old man. Your words have left the kids a bit confused. You all hurry up and get ready. Make sure everything is prepared for the children. Don't let them be late or forget anything when it's time to report. General Yunlong waved his hand, and everyone began to disperse. So much had happened today. Su Bai also felt tired. After signing the school's intent letter with Director Kai, he returned home, finished a bowl of instant noodles, freshened up, and finally got some rest. Chapter 24. No longer able to endure. Su Bai versus Zhao Haoyan. After Zhao Haoyan returned home, his parents prepared a celebration banquet for him at the most luxurious hotel in the province. However, he was filled with indignation. How could it be? How could the underdog turn the tables? With a loud crash, a 5-meter-long table was overturned, spilling exquisite dishes and fine wines everywhere. What's wrong? You did so well. Yet you're not happy? His father, who was rarely home due to being a local entrepreneur, was back to celebrate his son's third-place achievement. Dad, there's foul play in this exam. I refuse to accept it. His father frowned. Foul play? So you're saying that someone who ranked at the bottom of the class, or even the entire school, got first place? That's indeed strange. Our son has always been well-behaved. He wouldn't lie. Can you use your connections to help our son out? Didn't you meet a lot of people in the province? Zhao Haoyan's mother chimed in. There is a way, but it would involve a debt of gratitude, Zhao Haoming. Zhao Haoyan's father said with some difficulty. After all, such debts are not easily repaid. Look at how you're being a father. Our son's South first place has been stolen, and you're saying such nonsense. Enough of this. You silly woman. Am I saying I want to help our son? There is indeed a chance, but it has to be foolproof. Zhao Haoming picked up his phone. Secretary Wu, yes, a set of higher-level equipment. Rent it for a day tomorrow, and also some magic-enhancing pills. The next day, at the school sports field, it was bustling with activity. All the students were seated in the stands, attending the celebration. The principal was loudly announcing in the middle of the sports field. This year, our school is bursting with talent. 3 students have respectively achieved the top 3 honors in the entire region. Our school is also very proud of these 3 outstanding students and has specially prepared a scholarship of 100,000 yuan for each of them. The principal proudly declared. This year, the school has received special recognition from the education department. Su Bai, Su Xiaoya, and Zhao Haoyan were called up. Su Bai and Su Xiaoya each expressed their gratitude to the school. When it was Zhao Haoyan's turn, he said, I have issues with the results. The top student, Su Bai, got first place through cheating. The principal, who was about to present the 100,000 yuan scholarship, suddenly darkened his expression. What was Zhao Haoyan trying to do? Zhao Haoyan continued, Su Bai, in front of thousands of teachers and students. Right here on the sports field today, according to school rules. Do you dare to compete with me? The other party kept picking on him. Su Bai, however, was not polite and turned to face Zhao Haoyan. I earned my top score legitimately, and you dare to challenge me? You're clearly guilty. You're afraid to compete with me. Your results are indeed from cheating. On this joyous occasion, the principal wanted to comfort both of them. Unexpectedly, a leader from the Education Bureau on the main stage tapped the microphone and said, recently, I have also received reports regarding Su Bai's results. How about this, principal? According to school rules, the youth are energetic and combative. Let them have a match. A friendly competition with no harm, and everyone would like to see if Su Bai truly has the skills. Seeing that the leader was backing him up, Zhao Haoyan pressed on, afraid? The bureau leaders are all here. Let's have a live match. Thousands of teachers and students watched this scene and began to discuss among themselves. Zhao Haoyan had a point. Su Bai's top score was indeed suspicious. Everyone knew he was at the bottom in school, and now he suddenly had a dramatic turnaround. Such things only happened in novels. Yes, if Su Bai didn't dare to accept the challenge, it would definitely mean he cheated. When has a top student ever lost to the second place? This is ridiculous. If you cheated to get first place and it hasn't been discovered, haven't you considered the issues behind that? Issues behind it? What issues? Perhaps Su Bai has connections, and Zhao Haoyan is digging his own grave. No way. Zhao Haoyan's father is the owner of a real estate company in our city. Many future developments are built by his family. Who else could have more power than Zhao Haoyan's father? Regarding the discussions on-site and Zhao Haoyan's aggressive stance, Su Xiaoya frowned, pouting her lips in displeasure as she pointed at Zhao Haoyan. What do you mean, Zhao Haoyan? If you're doubting Su Bai, then I doubt you too. If you have the guts, compete with me first before bothering Su Bai. Su Bai gently patted Su Xiaoya's shoulder, shielding her behind him. He smiled slightly. It's all right. I'll take on his challenge. Then, Su Bai scanned the leaders seated at the main table. So I ask all the leaders and everyone present, teachers and students, to be the judges and watch how I decisively defeat Zhao Haoyan. Zhao Haoyan gritted his teeth, infuriated. Such arrogance. Without waiting for the sports field to clear, he unleashed several beams of purple light. One after another, incredibly strong two-headed ogres appeared in front of him. 1 beam of purple light, 2 beams, 3 beams, 30 beams, 50 beams, 70 beams, 99 beams. The final surge of power erupted. The two-headed ogre chief, Kogel, wielding a giant spiked club, stood in the last row, right beside Zhao Haoyan. The two-headed ogre chief, Kogel, was massive and powerful, resembling an African elephant in size and strength. The giant spike club in his hand seemed capable of delivering a blow with the force of 1,000 pounds. Everyone on site gaped in shock. Is this Zhao Haoyan's power? It's too strong. The man who could summon heroes the earliest in the entire school. A prodigy. Not only that, but he had almost 100 summoned soldiers already. Such power was simply terrifying. Terrifying? What nonsense. Don't you know? I heard that during the exam, Zhao Haoyan could only summon 40 or 50 soldiers. It's only been a day, and he can summon 100. This is just unfair. Zhao Haoyan was extremely satisfied with the expressions of everyone around. He smirked slightly, looking at Su Bai. No matter if you are cheating or not, I have taken forbidden drugs and energy-enhancing pills. The energy in my body has doubled. The soldiers I summon are also doubled. Double the troops. What can you use to compete with me? Today, I will trample you underfoot and make your title of top scholar disappear forever. At this moment, the sports field was empty. A chilling atmosphere spread across the area. The audience held their breath, knowing that a fierce battle, or perhaps an overwhelming victory, was about to unfold. The power Zhao Haoyan displayed was at least of military rank. In the audience, a middle-aged man furrowed his brow, while the young girl sitting next to him looked even more anxious. Su Bai? Don't lose. Chapter 25. Unfortunately, your hero is still weak in front of my armored mining vehicle. Zhao Haoyan sneered and commanded his two-headed ogres to approach Su Bai, adopting a posture that suggested they could take his life at any moment. He opened his large, fang-filled mouth and began to roar at Su Bai. The attempt was to scare Su Bai into a panic before he could be defeated, making him lose face first. Wow, Zhao Haoyan is really impressive. He managed to summon so many soldiers at once. The two-headed ogre he summoned is terrifying. Even from the stands, I can feel the overwhelming pressure. I wonder if our top scholar will get so scared that he loses control. But he is a top scholar after all. The exam results shouldn't be wrong. I bet 5 gold coins that Su Bai will definitely lose. The students in the stands were still discussing, but then an unexpected situation occurred. Facing the threatening two-headed ogres, Su Bai suddenly gathered his strength and charged straight at one of them. He dodged the ogre-esque grasp and climbed onto the head of one of the two-headed ogres in a flash. Then he swung his fist, which was enhanced by the 3 lookout cannons within him, and struck fiercely. With a loud pop, one of the ogre's eyes was smashed in. The injured ogre howled in pain, slapping its face repeatedly, trying to shake Su Bai off. Unfortunately for the massive creature, its clumsiness allowed Su Bai to leap back easily, landing safely and avoiding the flailing hands. It was as if the ogre had hit itself in the face. Wow, I didn't expect Su Bai to be so strong. He actually dared to take the field himself and fight the soldiers, even the two-headed ogres. His own attack power is not to be underestimated. Should I still bet 5 gold coins? I will bet. Who is afraid? I bet Su Bai will lose. Why? Even though Su Bai's displayed strength is not weak? What is the use of being strong? In a battle of troops, it still relies on the soldiers. Zhao Haoyan summoned over 100 ogres. No matter how strong Su Bai is, can he really take on 100? He'd be exhausted. If that's the case, are you saying Su Bai is just trying to show off? The audience in the stands were discussing the outcome, even bringing up the issue of showing off. In reality, Su Bai's proactive attack was not to show off, but to test the strength of the opponent's troops, while also using the detection medal that Director Qi gave him to ascertain the attributes of the two-headed ogres. Two-headed ogre, level, LV8, strength, 33, agility, for defense, 21 health, 330. After reviewing the attributes of Zhao Haoyan's two-headed ogres, Su Bai understood. They were indeed a MT-level troop, capable of both offense and defense. However, they had one significant drawback. Their agility was too low. At this moment, Zhao Haoyan was already growing impatient. Su Bai's earlier display of strength surprised him, but he wasn't too worried about it. After all, he had a backup plan. Su Bai, are you not going to summon your troops? Are you preparing to admit defeat? As you wish, I will summon my troops now. In response, Su Bai had already retreated to the edge of the arena, white light flickering in his chest. 45 mobilized soldiers were summoned from within. Seeing this scene, Zhao Haoyan couldn't hold back and burst into uncontrollable laughter. Humanity? It's actually a human type. No wonder he retreated to the edge. It turns out he was trembling in fear of my ogres. Ahaha. The audience couldn't contain themselves either. Is this really a human? Can this even be considered a troop type? Can they fight? Could it be that Subai really got to the top through some backdoor or cheating? In response to everyone's ridicule and disbelief, Subai's answer was remarkably simple. That is, open fire. With a command, the mobilized soldiers pulled the triggers of their AK-47s. The front row of ogres was immediately targeted by the bullets. The AK-47s spat fire continuously, and a barrage of bullets rained down on the ogres. Under the hail of bullets, their health points rapidly dwindled. After just 2 rounds of fire, the health of these ogres hit 0, and they fell to the ground. Zhao Haoyan was also taken aback. The human troops he had just underestimated were now displaying such powerful attack capability. He quickly commanded the ogres to protect their vital areas and launched a charge towards the human soldiers hiding in the corner. However, this tactic proved ineffective. Subai's mobilized soldiers were not attacking aimlessly but were concentrating their fire to prioritize shooting the charging ogres at the front. With 330 health points, the ogres couldn't withstand 2 rounds under the fire of the AKs. Watching his hundreds of ogres turn into experience points for Subai was infuriating for Zhao Haoyan. It seemed he could only summon his hero now. Attack! Korgal, the giant, over 4 meters tall, patted his strong chest in front of Zhao Haoyan. He was incredibly powerful, weighing as much as a 5 or 6-ton tank. With each step, the ground trembled. This was Zhao Haoyan's trump card, the ogre chieftain Korgal, possessing 1,200 health points, 39 defense points, and an attack skill, Shockwave. This skill could compress the air to unleash an attack with a stun effect, with a range of 10 meters. As long as Korgal got close, the shockwave would be released, causing group stun and inflicting 50 points of damage to all. The ogres behind him would follow the charge. Subai's soldiers would soon become easy prey. Therefore, Zhao Haoyan immediately changed formation, ordering the ogres to hide behind the 1,200 health point hero and follow in the charge. The bullets rained down once again, but this time they struck the hero, who surprisingly managed to endure the onslaught. After using the detection metal once more, Subai instantly understood Zhao Haoyan's intentions. Unfortunately, he had a follow-up card of his own. Now was the moment for him to act. Come forth. Armed mining vehicle. As the 2-headed ogre army approached at 30 meters, 25 meters, and 18 meters, Subai's armed mining vehicle suddenly appeared to block their path. The 2-headed ogres, who were about to reach the mobilized troops, were halted. The group of ogres began attacking the armed mining vehicle. The vehicle's formidable defenses silently absorbed the relentless assaults. Meanwhile, the heavy machine gun on top of the vehicle unleashed its firepower. The dense barrage of bullets exploded against the bodies of the 2-headed ogres, splattering blood everywhere. A few more ogres fell to the ground. Cao Gear quickly activated his shockwave ability, sending a powerful wind pressure sound wave attack toward the armed mining vehicle. Unfortunately, it was of no use. After all, in this context, the armed mining vehicle could withstand even nuclear strikes. This level of attack was nothing. Chapter 26, Zhao Haoyan, unwilling to accept defeat, decided to stake everything on this gamble, only to be brutally beaten by Subai. The strong shield provided by the armed mining vehicle disrupted Zhao Haoyan's offensive rapidly. The mobilized troops continued to provide cover fire from the rear. The remaining ogres also became a source of delightful experience for Subai. The downed 2-headed ogres transformed into a purple light and vanished from the battlefield. The disappearing purple lights proved that they had once made a failed charge here. When the last 2-headed ogre chief, Cao Gear, let out a heart-wrenching wail, a faint purple light disappeared. Subai gained 500 experience points from him. With a cough, Zhao Haoyan spat out a mouthful of blood and weakly knelt on the ground, his legs trembling. The bond between a hero and their commander was deep. When a hero fell, the commander who summoned them also suffered tremendous damage. This was a forced summoning of a doubled number of soldiers already pushing their limits. With the death of the hero, Zhao Haoyan was now drained of both health and morale. Is there anything else to say? You lost. One of Subai's mobilized troops pressed the gun's muzzle firmly against Zhao Haoyan's temple. Many teachers and experts in the audience had already concluded that once Subai summoned that colossal armed truck, the outcome of the match was entirely predictable. Now, the venue was silent, and the girl who had been chatting with the middle-aged man smiled like a blooming flower. Subai is really impressive. Dad, how did you manage to get him into the Imperial Guard Academy? You can't handle such a small matter. The middle-aged man felt a bit awkward. Don't mention me. I wanted to recruit Subai as well, but who knew that General Yunlong intervened halfway? He is a founding hero, and his word carries weight. I had to respect Subai's wishes, but there was nothing I could do. The girl pouted, still somewhat dissatisfied. The principal watched this scene, holding the microphone, his gaze directed at the Education Bureau leaders on the main stage. Seeing that the leaders were silent, the principal announced loudly, "Classmates Subai, you have summoned the upgraded troops and achieved an overwhelming victory." Applause erupted. Zhao Haoyan felt weak. Looking at Su Bai's smug expression, he felt another wave of despair. He suddenly pulled out a pill from his pocket and swallowed it. Pretending to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth, he took a deep breath and stood up. I took a soul-calling pill. Even if it costs me everything, I will fight you today. As the pill took effect, Zhao Haoyan's veins bulged, blood surged, and his muscles went from soft to hard. His non-existent abs and biceps began to show. He approached the principal and snatched the microphone from him without hesitation. Su Bai? That earlier troop duel was just child's play for exams. Are you brave enough to have a real fight with me? Let's play the school's highest taboo match. A death match. Do you dare? A death match, as the name implies, is a life and death battle. It is usually initiated when both parties have a deep-seated grudge against each other. In this struggle, neither side can summon any troops. It must be a test of the personal valor of the commanders. The fight occurs in a designated area until one side concedes or dies. It is a very violent form of competition. Although it is cruel, in this martial-oriented country, it is not prohibited, because a death match requires the other party's acceptance to officially begin. As long as the opponent refuses the challenge, the fight is deemed illegal. This also protects the interests of ordinary people. Zhao Haoyan, you are completely beneath me. I advise you to give up. You can't defeat me, Su Bai replied coldly. Haha. Su Bai? You truly are a coward. Useless. A timid little fool. Relying on luck. But your strength is pathetic. Zhao Haoyan continued to provoke Su Bai. For this competition with Su Bai, Zhao Haoyan had even rented an additional piece of high-level purple gear for his son on top of his original equipment. Divine Warrior Necklace. Strength. 20. Accuracy. 3. This piece of equipment grants 20 points of strength. It takes a commander a significant amount of effort, specifically a rise of 78 levels, to possess such power attributes. For Su Bai, he would need to rise at least 20 levels to gain those 20 points of strength. Moreover, he has an innate accuracy boost of 3 points, allowing him to counteract 6 points of the opponent's agility. For commanders who favor styles akin to the legendary warrior Lu Bu, this would be a treasure-level necklace. Additionally, he had just consumed a forbidden drug, which temporarily doubles his attributes. Currently, with all his equipment, his strength stands at an impressive 76 points, agility at 52 points, and defense at 33 points. Aside from overextending his body, his health points have dropped to 60 out of 433. Even if a teacher were to challenge him, they would likely be defeated. What's wrong? Still not speaking? Are you scared? Just admit it in front of all the students. The emergence of a deadly fight on campus would certainly cast a negative light on the school's reputation. What was once a camaraderie among classmates had turned into a life-and-death rivalry, which reflects poorly on the school's management. The principal hurriedly stepped in to mediate. Let it go. It's fine. Zhao Haoyan, losing this time doesn't mean you won't win next time. Su Bai's reputation is well-earned. However, this statement only seemed to provoke Zhao Haoyan further. As the principal, you think I can't beat Su Bai? You must be blind. What kind of principal are you? Su Bai frowned. This guy had become like a rabid dog ever since his HIV status was exposed by Su Bai. Now, he was even starting to lash out at the principal, perhaps feeling emboldened by the fact that his father was a wealthy real estate developer in the city. But Su Bai wasn't going to tolerate him. Zhao Haoyan, we can have another match. If I lose, the title of top student is yours. But if you lose, then what? If I lose, it doesn't matter if you beat me to death. This divine necklace around my neck will belong to you. The necklace gleamed, and many students swallowed hard, their eyes filled with greed. Zhao Haoyan's family was indeed wealthy enough to afford such premium equipment. In the context of a fight to the death, the laws of the country recognized such stakes as reasonable and legitimate. With so many witnesses present, this duel was binding. Once Su Bai agreed, neither side hesitated. Zhao Haoyan charged at Su Bai like a cannonball. Today, I'm going to take you down. His fist generated a powerful gust of wind, and it felt as if the air itself was howling. This attack was as heavy as a mountain. However, Su Bai did not dodge. Instead, he also extended his fist and struck back. The two fists collided. A crisp sound echoed as Zhao Haoyan's entire arm began to dislocate and deform, his bones fracturing. His face contorted in pain, tears streaming down as he let out agonizing screams. How is this possible? Zhao Haoyan stammered in disbelief. With only around 400 points of health, after accounting for his personal defense, he still took at least 100 points of damage from trading blows with Su Bai. It was inevitable that a punch would leave him with broken bones. He had heard that Su Bai's average attributes were barely over 20 points. Not even enough to break through his equipped defenses. He never expected the opponent's attack power to be this strong. Su Bai turned and delivered another whip kick. Zhao Haoyan hurriedly used his other arm to defend, but another crisp sound of bone breaking echoed. His arm went limp like a noodle, completely useless. With both arms incapacitated, he lay on the ground, looking up at Su Bai, who appeared like a demon, his teeth chattering. A foul smell unexpectedly wafted from his pants. Please, don't kill me. Zhao Haoyan pleaded as Su Bai raised his fist. Terrified, he tightly shut his eyes. However, the punch did not come down. Instead, Su Bai yanked, pulling off the valuable divine military necklace Zhao Haoyan had rented. You lost. This is now mine. Chapter 27. Zhao Haoyan's drug use leaves him helpless. Su Bai constructs rhino tanks for the Su army. That necklace was worth at least a few million and significantly boosted his combat power. As for killing his opponent, Su Bai didn't want to tarnish his reputation. Besides, the leaders from the Education Bureau were watching. After all, this was in front of a large crowd. The leaders were already sweating profusely. He never expected this outcome. He was merely trying to give a favor to a local real estate mogul by speaking a few words for his son. But now his son was almost beaten to a pulp. How could he explain this to the father? Frustrated, the Education Bureau director, Wang Jinju, slammed his hand on the table. Su Bai, you have quite the audacity. This school is a place for education, not for your reckless behavior. They wanted to fight me to the death. What could I do but agree? Su Bai replied. This death match was never agreed upon. It's illegal. You're maliciously harming someone. Prepare to go to jail. It turned out that this leader was in cahoots with Zhao Haoyan. At this moment, Su Bai was ready to confront the leader again. Trying to frame me? I'll take you down with me. Su Bai thought to himself, then said aloud, you disagree? The entire student body and school leaders in this stadium can testify. Stop spouting nonsense. Unexpectedly, Wang Jinju let out a cold snort. He raised his eyes to the principal standing beside him and elongated his voice, speaking in a somewhat sarcastic tone. Principal Liu, do you, as the school leader, approve of this deadly fight? Principal Liu looked completely shaken. Such a big incident had occurred. Zhao Haoyan's father was quite influential in this city. And even the director had to speak in favor of him now. Su Bai, you violated school regulations. This 100,000 scholarship. The school will not grant it to you. Call the police. Arrest him. Call security. First control Su Bai. Dozens of school security guards surrounded Su Bai. Each of them released different levels of personnel from their chests, totaling over 300. You bunch of bastards. You are all in cahoots. Before these personnel could close in, Su Bai suddenly dashed forward, leaping over the main podium's table to stand in front of Wang Jinhu's. How dare you frame me? With a loud slap, Wang Jinhu's face swelled up, his eyes bulging like a goldfish. You dare to hit me. This is outrageous. I'm going to report this. I'll have you disqualified as the top student. Call Director Qi. Just as he finished speaking, a deep voice came from behind Wang Jinhu's. You were looking for me? It was Director Qi Tongwei, the provincial police chief whom he had always tried to curry favor with, but could never reach. Wang Jinhu shrank his neck and rushed to Qi's side. What brings you here? This detestable Su Bai, he dared to hit me. He has gone mad. Director Qi. Director Qi snorted coldly. I think it's you who has gone mad. As a director, you can't even see the current situation clearly. The third place, Zhao Haoyan, has used banned substances twice and is now writhing in pain. His body feels like it's being bitten by thousands of ants, experiencing side effects. Everyone had been focused on Su Bai, but now remembered to look at Zhao Haoyan lying on the ground. They finally noticed him, drooling and crying, with tears streaming down his face. His eyes rolled back, and he was rolling on the ground, looking utterly bizarre. Director Wang Jinhu stammered, Director Qi. How did you know Zhao Haoyan was using banned substances? I've worked in the narcotics team for several years. How could I not recognize this? This kid is done for. Taking two types of banned substances simultaneously, the drugs are wreaking havoc inside him, exhausting his vital energy. He'll probably never be able to summon personnel again. Quickly notify his parents to take him to the hospital. The sound of an ambulance echoed as the school leaders hurriedly organized the students to leave. This award ceremony ended in an unexpected fashion. Damn. It turns out Zhao Haoyan was on drugs. No wonder he was so aggressive. A person can summon so many troops, and their personal bravery is so high. Where on earth did they buy this banned substance? You should know that I only took a few pills during the exam. And now I wouldn't just end up at a third-tier school. You're overthinking it. There were drug tests during the exam. I think you're trying to get yourself into trouble. TSK. Even if Zhao Haoyan is using drugs, it seems he has still no match for Su Bai. This guy is indeed top tier. Perhaps this third-place runner-up will be disqualified because of this incident, leaving a blessing for the fourth place. Sitting at home, good fortune comes from the sky, directly advancing to third place. After the event, Director Qi was beside himself educating Director Wang and Principal Liu on maintaining standards for the school. Students who use banned substances are a stain on the school's reputation. On Su Bai's side, Su Xiaoya didn't leave, but stepped forward to ask if he was okay. Qi Tiantian also ran over. When the two women met, there seemed to be some awkwardness, but neither showed it. This saved Su Bai from having to explain too much. Finally, this matter came to a close as summer vacation began. Previously, the principal said they wouldn't distribute the 100,000 scholarship, but after being lectured by Director Qi, they secretly gave it to Su Bai. This money became travel expenses, allowing Su Bai to train intensely in the dungeon far from the city. The war vehicle factory is ready. Click to deploy. The red alert Soviet war vehicle factory, with its strong metallic heavy industry feel, rose up from the ground. Very good. Su Bai opened his eyes and sat up from the grass. After these days of mining with the armed mining vehicle, there was finally space in the Stone Sea to place the Soviet war vehicle factory. Now, Rhino tanks, anti-aircraft tracked vehicles, and even Apocalypse tanks could be produced. Opening the menu, the only units currently available for production were the Rhino tank and the anti-aircraft tracked vehicle. The cost of a Rhino tank is 900, and the anti-aircraft tracked vehicle costs 500. With his current capabilities, it would take 2 days to produce one Rhino tank. This combat unit is indeed not cheap, but it has good firepower and mobility. Many skilled Red Alert players achieve victory by using a large number of Rhino tanks to crush the allied Grizzly tanks, ultimately securing the win. In the gaming community, this type of tank is referred to as a fat tank. He really wanted to produce the tanks immediately and use modern arm technology to attack those primitive monsters wielding wooden sticks and knives. Just thinking about that scene is incredibly appealing. It would be a complete steamroll. Su Bai invested all his savings. He spent all the funds earned from the dungeons and armed mining over these days. He estimated he could produce 5 Rhino tanks. It's false to say that making money is easy. The advanced dungeon doesn't allow you to just run through it once and move on. Each dungeon has a cooldown period. This leads to the expenditure of resources for producing tanks, which is quite painful. After all, even though your mobilized soldiers are strong, they lack close combat capabilities. You need powerful and highly defensive units to serve as the front line. In Chapter 28, Zhao Haoyan is admitted to the ICU, and Zhao Haoming vows to kill Su Bai. Fortunately, Su Bai hasn't spent much money lately. He has managed to save up enough to afford a few tanks. He exhales deeply. The 5th Rhino tank has been produced. He clicks on the attributes of the Rhino tank in the Stone Sea. This powerful unit finally reveals its mysterious statistics. Rhino tank, strength, 120, agility, 25, defense, 40, health, 800. These stats are incredibly strong, almost comparable to the Naga Royal Guard summoned by Director Kai Yuanpei. One wonders how many levels of training it took for Director Kai's Naga to achieve such powerful attributes. Meanwhile, he can easily produce such a strong unit. The most important point is that his tanks are ranged units. In a one-on-one duel with the Naga Royal Guard, they would definitely not be a match for him. Moreover, Su Bai believes that if his tanks concentrate their fire, even the bloodthirsty tiger of Director Qi wouldn't be able to withstand many hits. Thinking of such a powerful unit already appearing in his arsenal, he can't help but want to find some monsters to practice on. At this moment, the sky has darkened. Su Bai brushes off the dust from his pants, stretches lazily, and leaves the dungeon. After tomorrow, he won't be able to grind dungeons outside the city anymore. There isn't much time left before school starts. He has to report to the Guard Academy in the Magic City. He can't afford to be late on the first day of school. What if the scholarship of 5 million isn't granted? That would be a huge loss. Now, due to continuously challenging dungeons, his level has risen again, reaching level 10. Character level, LV10, strength, 321, agility, 231, defense, 131, health, 10,510, although his attributes are still quite weak. The necklace he won from Zhao Haoyan's bet has barely boosted his strength to over 30 points. It's acceptable for now. The most important thing is that his level has reached 10. He should be at a decent level in the new school. In the ICU of the First People's Hospital of the city, a voice cries, "Woo, my son. How unfortunate you are. I'm sorry, my child. I let you suffer such serious injuries. You've really been through a lot." Zhao Haoyan's mother wept bitterly by the sickbed, while his father stood nearby with a darkened face, remaining silent. After a while, his mother rubbed her swollen, red eyes and glared fiercely at Zhao Haoming. "What kind of father are you? Our son is so badly injured, and you don't even care. All you do all day is tear down houses. Are you even fit to be a father?" Her words, once spoken, immediately ignited Zhao Haoming's anger. "You spoil him every single day. Look at what he's done to himself." A medical checkup revealed he has AIDS. Who knows how you've been disciplining him at home, giving him one pill, and then another, until his health is completely ruined. What can I do? What can I possibly do? You heartless wretch. If you want me and our son dead, just say it. What do you mean? What can you do? You're the biggest real estate tycoon in the city, with connections everywhere. Can't you even handle such a small matter? You're utterly useless. You. Zhao Haoming stepped forward and slapped his wife twice across the face. Shallow-minded woman. Do you think I don't want to avenge our son? It just so happened that the provincial public security chief witnessed the incident. If anything happens to that kid Su Bai, I'll be the first suspect. No matter how powerful I am in the city, can I afford to provoke someone like Chi Tongwei from the provincial department? He rose to power by cracking down on crime. He'd love for you to slip up and give him an excuse. After being struck, Zhao Haoming's wife finally stopped her hysterical screams. Now, like a meek young bride, she sobbed quietly, though she continued to mutter under her breath. Wah! I don't know what sin I've committed to end up with this coward who only takes his anger out on his wife. My son, your mother is useless. I can't help you get justice. Wah! Hearing his wife's incessant murmuring, Zhao Haoming clenched his fists, punched the hospital room wall, and gritted his teeth. Enough of your whining, woman. That Subai won't live to see another day. What can you do? You said if anything happens to Subai, the public security chief will suspect you immediately. So how will you manage it? We can't touch him now. But once he leaves the city in the next couple of days, I'll have Feng Biao and the demolition crew take him out in the wilderness. They'll settle the score for our son. In this nation, ordinary citizens are prohibited from leaving the city without a valid reason. This rule isn't meant to imprison anyone, but serves as a form of protection. Though the regulations may seem harsh and unyielding, they are born from hard-earned lessons written in blood. Beyond the city walls, among the vast mountains and rivers, lie countless dungeons, some explored, others still unknown. Occasionally, monsters slip through the cracks and escape these dungeons, posing a threat to travelers' safety. Especially in some high-level dungeons, the elite monsters and bosses are quite formidable. It's not just ordinary people. Even awakened warriors might struggle to escape. Therefore, for long-distance travel, there are specific regulations in the region. When traveling to another city, it's necessary to travel in groups and purchase insurance, following the official routes for transportation. These vehicles typically depart only once every few days. As a result, many people often wait together to board at the same time. Brother Subai, I prepared braised fish pieces, so you don't have to eat instant noodles. In the convoy heading to the magical city, Su Xiaoya cheerfully handed over a lunchbox. Subai took it and opened it to find it steaming hot. Clearly made by Su Xiaoya this morning. The braised fish inside was cut into generous pieces, topped with thick sauce that smelled delicious. Thank you, Xiaoya. I won't hold back. Subai took a couple of bites of rice and picked up a piece of fish. Not bad, really tasty. Xiaoya, I didn't expect you to apply to the same school in the magical city as I did. Of course, we're so close, wherever you apply. I'll apply there too. The others in the cart watched Subai enjoying his meal, and suddenly their instant noodles didn't seem so appealing. Who is this guy? How come he has a beautiful girl bringing him lunch? Why haven't I encountered such luck? But they could only grumble internally. Looking down at their instant noodles, they forced themselves to slurp a couple of bites. Well, instant noodles aren't bad. At least this pickled vegetable isn't made from something disgusting. Bro, hang on a second. Let me ask you, why do we have four-wheeled cars, but have to take horse-drawn carts out of the city? Isn't that too outdated? One person eating instant noodles asked another. Hey, it's obvious you've never been out of the city, you country bumpkin. Look at the road, it's all mud. How can a car drive on this? It would get stuck. Besides, cars consume fuel, and where would you find fuel in the wilderness? Cars can't travel far at all. Then why don't they build roads like in the city? Just pave more asphalt roads. And cars would be able to go faster. The person eating pickled noodle looked at him as if he were foolish. Are you out of your mind? Asking such a dumb question. Look around at this wilderness, it's crawling with monsters. How many people would die trying to build a road here? Even if the road were good, if a big boss shows up, their weight could just collapse the road. It wouldn't be fixed fast enough. It's not like this hasn't happened before. Eventually, all countries gave up on such ideas. Oh, I see now. I've learned something today. Chapter 29. Zhao Haoming hires Feng Biao to ambush Subai. Demolition thugs are no match for Subai's rhino tank. The surrounding area was fragrant with grass and trees, and the peaks were layered and imposing. While enjoying a bento box and admiring the scenery, it felt as though I had returned to the time before Subai's journey. Eating Texas-style chicken on a train while gazing at the beautiful landscapes of my homeland. This cart, drawn by oxen, was not made from ordinary cattle, but rather from a specially selected breed of awakened beings. These awakened beings are massive and powerful animals. Although they may not excel in combat, they possess exceptional transport capabilities, making them ideal for hauling goods and people over long distances. The cart Subai was riding in was pulled by a type of dryland ox summoned by the driver. According to their conversation, this breed measures about 5 meters long. Aside from being slow and timid, they are incredibly sturdy and reliable, akin to express delivery and transportation. Sitting in the bus-like vehicle, it swayed back and forth. If it weren't for its slow speed, many might have been dizzy from the motion. On board, everyone chatted comfortably. The driver was quite talkative. Young man, isn't the scenery nice? Subai was engaged in a light-hearted conversation with the driver. I didn't expect the wilderness here to be so beautiful. Of course, the landscapes of our homeland are magnificent, the driver replied. However, beneath this beautiful scenery lay many dangers. While driving, the driver kept a lookout. What are you looking at? Subai asked. The driver lit a cigarette and slowly replied. There are always wild creatures that escape from dungeons, so we must not be careless. Even more concerning are some individuals who commit crimes in the city and then flee here, hiding in these deep mountains and forests, living by robbing others on the roads. I remember a couple of years ago, a colleague of mine was taking a group of female college students back to school, and they encountered 7 or 8 bandits. The leader, a man with a black beard, summoned dozens of half-beast men wielding axes. As a result, everyone on the vehicle was robbed. And all the female students were abducted, not knowing what fate awaited them in some mountain stronghold. Su Bai's mouth fell open in shock. Such a thing happened? Once you start transporting goods, you hear all sorts of stories. But you don't need to worry. I've been running this route for decades and know it well. We won't run into any bandits. Besides, each of you has insurance. If something does happen, you'll be compensated. After